You motherfuckers created this bull 60 years ago. It was called the Great Civil Rights Act when everybody got their way, supposedly, and the big government stepped in and said, hey, guess what? We're going to change your life for the better, and we're going to help everybody out. How's that turned out?
And Redneq, someone has paid to boot you. Okay, so we're getting some people in. We got a camera. Please, 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 turn it on. Turn this camera. Oh, you guys have. Oh, fantastic. All right, so here I go.
We are on top of it for you, Prime.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, what's up?
What's up?
Not much.
You've had an entertaining evening.
Yeah.
I've been tuned in for once.
Yeah.
So,
how's it going, y'all?
I'm fine.
Good work, Prime. That was
damn fine.
Yeah, that was good.
Having a great night. Had some quality content.
Hopefully.
yeah.
Thank you, Eucharist, again for being so kind as to donate. That's really, really kind of you, Eucharist. Thank you for your regular and constant support of this channel. Thank you so much. Yeah, we had some pretty good content, I would say. But I actually did want to like cover these things because it's an endless issue. It's an endless issue to handle this thing. It's something I'm constantly accused of irresponsible platforming, right? And you know what? No, and I want to make it clear that I don't think all of those accusations are completely incorrect. Like, I know how to do everything. Absolutely, this is a thing that I'm learning, right? Doing this, it's a continuous growth process. So I don't want to give the impression that I think that I'm always right, anything like that. Yeah, we're all going and growing here. I need your help to, let me know when I'm doing wrong, because I might be doing wrong. But I also think some of those criticisms have been bad faith. So just putting that out there.
Very important, if you don't mind me announcing, Prime. The fuck counter was 622.
The fuck?
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I lost count after 500, so.
Not bad.
Nice. Yeah, the weak-minded just count after only 500. The strong-willed go past 600.
What was the list counter?
Thanks for that.
Oh my god, the list counter.
Yeah, I wanted a list counter.
A little bit less than the fuck counter.
A little bit less. Okay.
A little.
Okay. I guess.
Prime, I think your subscribers should be called the list. By the way,
the list.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you for being part of the list. Welcome to the list. Oh, goodness gracious.
Not bad.
Yeah, thanks all for stopping by. I'll introduce you all. Thank you, Empress, all the way up there in the corner.
Hello, lovely.
Empress, a good friend here, our Professor as well, is a very good friend of the channel, and what do you know, an infiltrator from the Politics Discord server that Doobie runs. Oh no.
I have done nothing wrong. There is no war in Bossing Say.
Muted, deafened.
But Empress is always welcome here. Always welcome. In fact, we're ecstatic always to have her around. So Empress, how are you doing today?
I am doing splendiferous. I am ready to swallow some tracheas.
Okay. Okay.
Defend my homeland if I need to.
Damn right. Okay. I love it.
Oh God.
Let's
defend your community.
Let's
absolutely
go with next American Nacho. Thanks for coming back. Hey, how are you?
Yes, I'm well. It's been a while, but I always love being here, and thank you for having me.
Okay.
I love your open panels, and I'm glad that you allow so many people to come through here.
It gets wild. It gets very wild here. Next, we go to Birdlawyer. Birdlawyer, thanks for stopping by. How are you?
Hey, man. It's good to be back. I'm missing my man AZ. I don't know where he's at. He's probably in chat. It was fun last time. I wish he was back. Tonight we're gonna stick with the root beer. Last night I got a little crazy, but we're gonna stick with the root beer tonight. So
probably a good idea. I agree.
Is that the Nolans root beer?
What's that?
Was that the Louisiana beer?
No, it's the Spreckers. Good stuff.
German.
Try it out.
Next, Clearest. Thanks for stopping by again. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me. Doing good.
Okay.
It was an interesting panel.
It was something. It was a thing. Samantha Banana, who's a a big help to the channel, helps put together Amazon Lily, and put together All Trans Everything panel, which is where all of tonight sprung from. It sprung from her. So we want to thank Samantha Banana / Comrade Samantha for being so kind as to help out the channel. And just be a general great person. Samantha, how are you doing?
Not bad. Also a friend of Doobie's. And if you'd like to join that server you heard so much about tonight, you can type !Doobie in the chat and join us in the conversation, as well as join Calliopean Club by typing !Eris in the chat. But there's no place I call home other than Prime Kai's channel.
Thanks so much.
Aww.
That was awfully sweet. I remember. You've changed your position, Charmhole. So okay, all right. I'll just introduce you now, Charmhole. Thanks for being here, Charmhole. One of my illustrious tier 3 subs. They are quite rare. But Charmhole, how are you doing again today?
I'm doing great. I'm hoping to make you some more money tonight. Let's go. Let's fire it up. Kick the tires, light the fires, Big Daddy.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Dan Graham. Danagram, right? Danagram. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. You'll see me as Danstagram in the chat. That's my Twitch name. And then for everybody drinking tonight, we're double fisting. We got a fantastic 2018 Merlot and a old fashioned. So,
What kind of whiskey?
Oh,
it's just some Johnny Walker Black Label. So
Okay.
Ew.
yeah.
Should have got doers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, gross.
It's all good. All of it.
All good.
Doers is gross.
Okay. Thanks so much. Next, we have Frank. Hello, Frank. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while.
In a very long while. Yeah, I don't show up too often. I honestly don't really like to stay up too often nowadays because I actually have a job now. But I wanted to stop by. It's the weekend, so we're just gonna have a good time, right?
La-di-da, look at me. We're a responsible part of society.
Traditionally employed,
adding value to the
Little
capitalist
ritzy.
system. Look at me. Pick these out. All right. Thanks so much. Ninetales, I introduced previously, but still, I want to give another shot. Ninetales, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me, Prime. Subscribe to Prime, everybody. He works super hard, and it makes it worth his time.
You are super low. I don't know why. You're super low.
Oh yeah. Subscribe to Prime, everybody, and do it because Prime's a super hard worker, and it makes it worth his time.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Okay. Also, Sam the Human. Yo, Sam the Human. Thanks for coming back consistently.
How's it going?
Despite
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I'm enjoying my time on here. So.
All right. Thank you. Next, Symblicon, you're a new person.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I was. I'm pretty sure I got invited by accident. I was in the group that they're currently telling everyone they're not allowed on the show. But I like your show a lot, man. I stumbled upon you recently. You seem fucking. You're clever. You're smart. I really like your content. I love all you guys. Thanks for having me.
Okay, thanks so much. All right, next, and Samantha, we can hear you vaping really hard. Samantha.
I thought I'd do that. I popped into the other channel to go tell Redneq to go fuck himself, and then I came back.
Okay.
Valid.
Next, thank you, Soltar, for coming through once again. Hey.
Always glad to show up and blow up your chat and things like that. So.
Okay.
I'll throw more donos for that hype, that level 5 hype train next time you need to do something you don't want to.
No thanks. I mean, I want the money, but still. Swamp Fox, how are you?
Hi. Good to be here. Love you guys. That's all I got.
All right. Great. Affinity, thank you for stopping by.
Howdy. I'm drinking with y'all as well. I got me some Deer Park, and I'm ready to get hammered. Let's go.
Okay. So we're all here. Hooray! All right. So I imagine you guys wanted to discuss what happened. If you guys have opinions, now's the time to air them.
Yes. So I was confused. I thought we were talking about Doobie being a Nazi, and I got confused because by the end I was thinking Vivian was the Nazi. In fact,
based.
Vivian is not a Nazi. Vivian's a wonderful
not
human being.
true. I don't know. I think she's proving a horseshoe theory every time she speaks.
Holy shit! Shut up.
Yep.
I do have to say that sometimes Doobie's server can be a little bit toxic to say the least, and promote some very bad attitudes in it.
It very much can. Yeah, I've been in there before during a like really harmless debate, and it gets fucking awful for no reason at all.
Let's not try to pretend that the server is promoting these things like, hey, there's some
people are
Nazis in this
passionate
chat.
about
We have-
issues, things can
we
get
have
very
Discord.
interesting and spicy, right? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Everyone in the everyone on this panel and everyone watching this panel knows how spicy things can get. Now
Oh, yeah. It's a
imagine if
little
you weren't limited by Twitch TOS.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty
I
much.
mean, shit. The other night we had like 5 white people debating the use of the N-word. For fuck's sake.
Okay, I was pretty sure I had lectured Steven about that one already. Like, I don't know.
That's to build on that too. Is I don't know the person you're talking about, but like to trust a bunch of people on the internet in a unmoderated group to have a debate that one person doesn't, get really crazy with. Like, I mean, that alone, I don't think damns a person if someone in their following does that.
Well,
Right, it's not. That's what I was trying to say. It's not like there's literally a server announcement like, "Hey, we just 10 more Nazis in here. Come listen to them speak about their beliefs." Like that's not
It's
what's
open
happening
season.
in there. Yeah,
No,
it's
it's not.
season. Yeah, no, that's just not what's happening. So, because I'm in that space
There's
too.
also
and-
And I think there's
It's
something
also
said
up to
about
you as the
people being in
leader
our
of
server
the-
versus other spaces. Like if you go on like edgy Discord server or any other large Discord server, you will find, and these are mostly social servers, right, where people are significantly less moderated than they are on our server, even, right? People paint our server as a hellhole, right? It's like, go on edgy. I've been called worse stuff on there than I've ever been called on politics, right? And it's a space that's not heavily moderated. There's not challenging of ideas, right? It's just, mostly normies, right? And Nazis will target these spaces to recruit for their ideology, right? Whereas they come to our space and we waste their time, right? They have to confront opposing views, which is huge because if we think of them as being very similar to conspiracy theorists, this has a moderation effect on their views. Whereas if they're still in their own circles and pulling people into those circles from social servers, right, they're going to become more extreme with time, right? Again, it's a parallel structure to conspiracy theorists. When you're exposed to opposing views, you tend to be less extreme. So I think that our server actually does no harm, really, in that regard, or at the very least, does more good than harm. And
Agreed.
I'm
I
very
love
adamant to defend
politics
that.
server. I love fighting all the kids on there.
The kids.
And that's really what it is, ain't it? It's like really just a bunch of like young teenagers that are just like they have such strong beliefs on certain positions for some fucking reason.
Well,
And
I don't know if I
they're
agree
a great
with that. I
mirror
think the
for
demographic of
American
our server is
society,
mostly
right?
like 18 to like 25.
Like every single person who's in there is an Ameriboo, right? Like they love American politics, American culture, all that shit. And if they're teenagers, then they are the best mirror for conventional wisdom and politics in the country. So,
And to be
Sorry,
to
when
give
I said
credit where
teenage-
credit is due, there's far less anti-Semitism on politics Discord than there is on, say, like 4chan.
Yeah.
Well,
we are not
yeah.
like we're called the 4chan of Discord sometimes, but we're really not. Not
Yeah.
even close.
Well, no, not anywhere near close.
Hmm.
Nobody on politics Discord has called for the death of anybody like me for being trans. So I mean that's pretty cool.
They've said many other mean things about
Yeah,
us.
many other mean things about trans people, but
Yes.
nobody's told me to go home and KYS or whatever. Like it hasn't gotten to that point. And when it does, it
And if
actually
it
gets
does
shut down
happen, they
pretty
get
quickly.
punished.
Yeah.
Is it really that
Well,
far off
the
though?
thing with
When you're a degenerate on arrival,
true. I mean, they have 100 mod. They
Okay,
literally
but
have a
degenerate.
Unironically, there are probably about 100
Degenerate though.
Because
Degenerate
I
is
counted them,
subjective.
yeah.
Because like what say I would
there are
consider
people,
degenerate
like,
compared to
one
what
second,
somebody else is
Go
considered-
ahead, Samantha, please.
Okay, so degenerate is like subjective, right? Based on the person. What say like Francine over there is going to think is degenerate, I might not think is degenerate. Or with the same thing with anybody else on this panel, right? Like, so what we consider degenerate is isn't like a fucking overarching consensus of all of us, and like Nazis are just the one people that are degenerate to us.
Okay, but
there's
like trans
okay,
people
but
aren't
there's
being killed because the slander against us isn't subjective. It still is.
Nobody
the
on
problem is that
politics
it's
Discord has
dehumanizing.
killed
me.
The problem is that it's
No.
dehumanizing, and when you dehumanize people, you justify doing bad things to them.
Yet we
So
can sit here and
Nine Tails
dehumanize
is
right wing people all day and nobody fucking bats an eye.
But no, but
Oh,
Tails is
okay,
100%
cool.
right in
Are
this.
right wing people marginalized
I've
groups?
gone into the politics Discord on like there was an open chat, and I went and they were just talking shit about like trans people constantly.
Yeah.
Like that was all the conversation was about. And that's not like a productive conversation. That just hurts people. So the fact that that's going on in the server and there was mods in there that were participating in that hate, I would say that does a lot of harm.
That's just a circle jerk, though. They're just getting it out of their system. The hate's already there.
Simbacon?
Yeah, and like I think there's a value to like acknowledging too, like online communities in particular, like if we're comparing a Discord to 4chan, right? Like 4chan stands alone as like the gold standard of being a bunch of fucking assholes and degenerates, right? Like, but I mean, it's also, I don't like it's hard to compare it to real life too, right? Like, because in most circles, outside of the super extreme fucking people that stand on their own, like at the very least there's kindness and discussion and stuff, right? Like it is a vocal few that are throwing rocks at a parade or whatever and making like the news about being hateful. But I think what it comes down to is that, like, if you really, if you look at a community over the long term, especially on the internet where it's prone to invasions and all of this and that, you can get the flavor of of a Discord, of a subreddit, and you can kind of sense the real world people that are in there. But the internet, unfortunately, exaggerates things a lot, like for whatever reason.
Saltar, and then Frank.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, like, I absolutely love online communities, like places like the Politics Discord, or even places like here. Any place that gets somebody out of their safe space is a wonderful opportunity for, like when you have like a Nazi or a fascist like step into an online community like this. Like if they're young, like really young and naive into the whole like, Nazism, fascism type ideal, and they're just doing it because that's what all their friends are doing. Like that's the opportunity to slap them down and just verbally shout them down and tell them why they're wrong. Like that's just where it needs to go. Like that's what I love about these online communities, is because when you get these people that take these wrong stances and take bad takes, they have that opportunity to get slapped and get outside their echo chamber and hear something different.
Is that going to happen though? If
They don't come here to
that
get proven wrong. They end up on Stormfront or
But like no. Does that happen if that online community you go in there and there's like 3 other people fighting for the same thing that you've been like talking about, where like the Nazi shit, there's 3 other people like discussing how, oh yeah, this is all true and shit like that. Because I've been on that server where that's happened, where
And how many people were pushing
in the
back?
room.
There's 43,000 people, so 3 freaking Nazis out of 43. I could give a shit. If you ban them outright or push them out, they're just going to go to Stormfront
really
anyway.
generous to say there's 43,000 people that are pushing back against Nazi rhetoric in that server.
This assumes a level of equality, right? Like these people, when they're pushing back, they're being dogpiled against a bunch of moderates who want to agree with the Nazis, and then the Nazis.
By the way, our new user retention rate as of today is about 33%, which is incredibly good for a Discord server. So like we do have like when users join our server, they tend to, compared to other Discord servers, stay in our server, and they also tend to be active at least for some period of time after they join. So
And they
like,
mostly live left.
Yeah, there's a rotation of users. There are some users who are more active than others, but to say that it's not a large community, it is massive. I've watched it grow from a community of 6,000 people to a community of 43,000 over the course of 2 years. It's huge.
Samantha, how do you know
It had Discord servers that rivaled the activity of Edgy when we were around 6,000, for context, right?
Like
So
what in the American curriculum is causing so many people to have these views, right? Like again, we keep trying to blame a server. Like that's so weird. Like
the American.
you have to blame
I don't think anyone's really trying to blame a server.
A lot of American media is very conservative.
Don't worry about it, Prime. Don't worry about it.
American culture is pretty right wing, especially. There's not a lot of like, yeah. Someone could articulate this a bit better. I'm in a heated gaming match. I'm sorry.
What game?
Battlefield.
Okay.
Okay.
Any game awards while you're there. Okay.
Sorry.
But I was saying though, like it's
Go ahead, Ninetales.
Yeah, I just don't think it ends at the American, or even begins at the American education system. Generally speaking, we don't teach people to critically think in schools. If we do, we don't put enough attention into it. So really, like, we as a society, in the sort of society that I live in Canada and people live in America, it's just like when you go to a party, right? And someone says something, and then you sit there and you're like, oh, hey, but what about this? And what about this? It's not the person saying bullshit who's the downer at the party. It's you for holding them accountable for what they're saying. And this is how society values these things. If you're the person clogging up the room with all of this critical thought, then you're the downer, not the person trying to misinform people.
Did you have your hand up, Nacho? I wasn't sure.
Oh no, sorry.
No, just making sure. All right, go ahead, Saltor, right, and then Silicon again.
Yeah. So I'm just going to take the take right off the bat and just flat say, like, the reason that, like, it's not necessarily a curriculum situation that you end up with a lot of these people with these thought processes, like Nazism, fascism, like a general conservative view. It literally is just easier to be conservative. It's easier to blame a marginalized population. It's easier to just be afraid that your job's going to get taken by an immigrant. It's easier all around. It's easier to be a conservative than it is to be anything else.
I would disagree that it's just that. I would think it's a mixture of, like, things that children are taught in schools and, like, their environment, the kind of people they grow up with. The media that's being circulated at that point. I would say that it's a mixture. I wouldn't say that it's all just, conservative. Being a conservative is easy. I would think it's like.
Yeah, so the thing is, I think from the
present.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, wouldn't the presence of these systems that easily indoctrinate children into conservatism, like, be kind of along his point of it makes it easier to be a conservative if they already exist? So you're like.
Well, so what I was going to say.
You can make that same argument both ways, though. I mean,
no, you can't.
I don't think they're separate. Hold on, one second, Frank. I'm going to try.
Yeah, so what I was gonna go ahead and say is just, like, I think it's easier to be conservative because that's just kind of like the cultural norm and still a large like majority of what probably is the U.S. and most world. Well, not most world, but like most of, like,
There's no way.
No, again, I'm gonna correct what I said. I misspoke when I said most
like
world.
The popular vote is the left,
For most people in the U.S., I would say, from my perspective at least, from what I've seen. I think it's, like, easier to become conservative because it's just like a standard. It's not like something that's really challenged. So the challenge then becomes moving them away from the right and moving them towards the left. I think I guess in the end of, like, the really just a general goal is to move people, like, change the kind of cultural norm or whatever and make it a little more to the left. But, like, it's the thing is, like, the way we see that we can do it, like, by sort of, like, maybe putting forward certain school programs that encourage, like, critical thinking or whatever. I really don't think those are, like, bad ideas for that, but I'm just not sure if that's entirely the solution. I think, again, just everyone has to kind of, like, again, I'm kind of losing my point here. So yeah, and someone
The
else.
critical thinking path is the entire reason that conservatives say that colleges indoctrinate people into thinking that they're liberals.
So,
I mean, literally the critical thinking thing. Sorry.
No. Fine. I'm going to have you finish your point. I see your hands up. I'm actually going to I'm actually going to move someone out because we have someone who wants to come in, and they're on the right, and they want to fight.
Oh man!
You know what's going to happen.
Man.
So
Let's not dogpile.
And if I move you out, it is not anything against you. We want you back in the future. But I'm not gonna make this more than fucking 15 people. Holy shit, it's too much. So Infinity, go finish your match, and we'll have you back in the future.
Oh no!
Off you go. And then
That's fair.
Hey, Redneq, you're in, and I know you're gonna
I called
fight.
that, by
But
the way.
before you do, don't worry, Redneq. I'm gonna get you in a second, but I'm gonna let these other people in. We'll get to you, buddy. All right. So Soltar, finish the point you were making, right? Then Simplicon, Sam, Dan, and I think Empress, you had your hand up, and Charmhole. Okay.
Yeah. So like what I was saying is that like on the critical thinking thing, like introducing different curriculums that like introduce critical thinking and like all of this other stuff to think outside the box. Because the one danger that a lot of people bring up, like if you want to make younger kids vote, like 16-year-olds and things like that, older, is that, well, they're just going to vote the way their parents do. And traditionally, that's kind of how it goes. I was a conservative until I was 18 and realized that it was a wider, less scary world out there. And it's the whole idea that adding curriculum that do things like critical thinking and think outside the box, like that, the conservative view right now is that that's making people liberal, that they're brainwashing them to be liberal by going to college.
Okay. Let's go with Simplicon.
Yeah. Started taking notes, man. Oh my god. Nine Tails first, Canadian also. Hello, I'm a Canadian too. But you made a point. It's not just the USA, and that's true. I think it's important to note, like, we're seeing an uprise in far right nationalism and like straight up Nazism, even in Germany right now, right? Like even in like places where they damn well know better, right? Like it's there's just a lot of like backlash towards progress going on, and that's to bring it to what like Salter is talking about. You mentioned like it's easier to be conservative. I agree in the sense like it's easier to be like the like the villainous idea of a conservative that we have, right? Like I mean, to say no to everything, to say change is bad, to be like everything has to stay the same. But there is a point, like I think there in a perfect world, the conservative has values that are difficult to maintain. I think I don't count myself as a conservative at all, but like they tend to believe in like hard lessons and hard work and like like fighting to find your place and stuff, and they get really threatened and bothered when we're starting to say like maybe the the categories that you're trying to make people fight to fit in aren't good enough, right? Maybe you're missing out on a bunch of valuable people like just by making these little categories. And I think at the end of the day, what we end up with is conservatives are kind of stuck on the defense, and there are certainly terrible examples of conservatives that they have hatred in their hearts and need to be done away with. But then there's other what would be moderate people that like they just end up feeling in the same way that they end up voting the way their parents did. They end up feeling like they were born on the wrong side and everybody's picking on them, kind of thing, right? And I don't have I certainly don't have sympathy for people that are preaching any kind of hate or anything, but I think it's just a kind of a social pickle that we find ourselves in, that nobody's able to sit and have a chat anymore. Like everybody picks their side and defends it to the death.
Okay.
Anyway, that's all.
So great. I see. Well, I think you responded to Ninetales specifically, right? Right. Simplicon. Okay, so I want Ninetales to be able to respond there. And then Claris and Swamp, I see you. So I have you after Redneq up with you. Okay. So Ninetales respond. Then we're going to move on to Sam, Dan, Empress, Charm, Redneq, Claris, Swamp.
I agree with Ninetales.
Yeah. I just wanted to add on that a tiny bit. I find that a lot of right-wing talking heads do come from Canada, and I think that that's significant. Also, yeah, when you're talking about all the categories people have, I agree that like we shouldn't just like reduce people down to like this person's a right winger, and has like every right wing ideology just because they're conservative. Sure, they lean right, but conservatives can also be progressives. So we have to be able to make those distinctions. I find that people like the conversation that was just had, especially people like Destiny and Vosh, are really bad at essentializing as well. But the left, they'll say, "Look at this person. They've done this thing, and this is all the left now." but they're not explaining like, is it this part of the left? Is it that part of the left? Because no part of the left that I've been on is especially gung-ho about canceling people or anything like that. I think that, people just take these fringe examples and run with them. And the generalization helps.
So just one question for you, Ninetales. You said a conservative can also be a progressive?
Sure. Like conservative is more like an economic position, where I think progressive is what I would say like a social position.
What?
They can contradict each
you can
other.
be a
And I'm not going to say
conservative,
that
a
they're going to
social
be
conservative.
consistent.
Any of you guys know what conservatism is, though?
Yeah, like there could be a social conservatives.
Traditionalism.
Yeah.
Are we ready for some real talk from a fucking righty conservative?
We are
or
not
a
ready.
bigoted
We are-
Nazi fucking redneck?
We
not allowed to
we
say
are
shit?
not ready, Redneck. We are literally not ready yet. But we will be. I promise you. I promise you. You're gonna get your turn. But all right. So Sam, Dan, Empress, Charm, Redneck, clear a swamp. Sam.
I got time to smoke, yeah.
Yeah. Sam the human. Sam the human. If you're talking, we can
Hello?
hear you. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Now we can hear you.
Okay. I mean, I agree with the assumption that a lot of people are making, that it's simpler for these groups of people to assume that like they could just blame minorities, and that's like a simpler assumption in their head to make, instead of trying to figure out more complex solutions or reasons for the issues that they're facing. And again, I think that like something we need to remember is that like the alt-right like advertise themselves as like the new counterculture. So I think youth went to that because of the fact that they like advertise themselves as the counterculture, and youths are relatively like kind of like flies to lights or moths to lights for counterculture. So they hear these things and they're going to start looking into the views. And again, because it's simpler, these are simpler assumptions to make. That's where they're going to go to it. And I think yesterday we talked about the more educated you are, the more likely you are to be liberal. So again, I don't know if it's part of the systemic issue of like education.
Dan, Datagram.
Yeah, we're gonna see if this is a hot take or not. I think the left bears some responsibility in holding the far right on the right. So what I mean by that is the overarching trend throughout time is that we move to more progressive policies, right? But one problem that you have is, especially conservatives, they want things to stay the same. In general, people are afraid to change. And so whenever you have things moving along so quickly, for right or wrong, right? And you have a fringe group of the left, no matter how small the minority is, screaming at moderate conservatives, calling them Nazis, you immediately push those people farther to the right. And this does not get talked about on the left enough. I mean, it's so bad that we watch the cannibalizing of the left by the left all the time in this forum, despite how nicely everybody treats each other face to face typically. So that's my point.
Okay. Next is my computer stopped slowing down. Empress, then Charm, then Redneck.
Hello, friend. All right. So I have some things to say about the comments people made on education. So with regards to teaching critical thinking as being potentially a facet for reduction of what I'm going to call conservative authoritarian ideology, right? So like we're talking about, basically like far right fascists and stuff like that, right? So for one, we already know this is the Hodson 2012 study. You can look this up if you're interested. I don't have the link offhand. Shows that conservative authoritarian ideology and prejudicial attitudes are both highly correlated with IQ. That being said, right, when we look at universities and students who go to university, there's not a significant impact of a university education on an individual's ideology. So compared to the normative population, if you were already left-leaning, you're likely to go to the left the same amount as the general population. If you're already right-leaning, you're likely to go right the same amount as the general population over that 4-year period. What you do see is a self-selection bias, right? So left-leaning people tend to be more likely to go to college. So you're in this thing where if you're just promoting critical thinking, I don't think that's going to have a very profound effect on reducing these kinds of authoritarian ideologies. That being said, if you want people to not believe those things, it seems like you would want to raise the IQ of general populations, right? So if you want to do that, that requires addressing many facets of material condition. That requires addressing a multitude of economic issues. That is a very, very, very broad thing. So TLDR, you want to reduce like far right authoritarianism and fucking fascists and make that stuff happen less? Sure, there are some people who are very smart, right, that fall into those ideologies, but generally that's not the case, right? So just improve material condition. IQ will go up over time. There you go. There's your solution.
Charm.
Real quick, I just want to shout out Redneq. Got the trans flag back behind him. Nice colors. Pretty sick. So on this entire point, I got to both sides this. The demonization of mentally enfeebled folk is perpetrated by both sides on every level, right? Quote unquote idiots are constantly scapegoated, and I personally hate the assholes who do this, right? And if we extrapolate from this demonization, they effectively ostracize children, animals, and the mentally disabled without ever admitting that they want control over these groups, over these ostracized groups, as in chattel slavery, because that makes hella money. If you control the kids, you control the future. If you control the animals, you control the food, right? And if you control the mentally disabled, you get a football team.
Okay, so what you're referring to is ableism, right? You're not referring to like anyone's actual intent. So ableism can happen, but
Are
then
you saying my
elite.
comment was ableist? Like I'm not sure.
No, the person who just talked.
Okay.
Oh,
So
sorry.
I don't think my comment was ableist at all, and I can explain why. I'm simply remarking on a correlation that exists, and I'm saying that generally speaking, as quality of life within nations goes up, you tend to see a reduction in authoritarian right-wing ideology. This is just measurably the case. And again, I cited a specific study as to why. I'm not saying that we need to get rid of people who are low IQ or anything like that, nor am I demonizing the individuals who are low IQ. I mean, I have a friend who is mentally incapacitated, right? Or mentally disadvantaged, that is a fucking electrical engineer. IQ is not a predictor of success. IQ is not necessarily a good metric at all. But, right, the point I'm demonstrating there is that if you're simply saying that you engage in promoting critical thinking, no, this is not going to change much. It seems like it's a variety of material condition issues, right, especially if it's related to low IQ, because something like living in poverty can reduce your IQ by up to a standard deviation. So, like, I'm talking about addressing material conditions that people don't fucking have extremist ideologies. That's like a pretty basic thing.
So they have to speak English, right, and no math.
How does that at all stem from anything I said?
Again, you said IQ. We have to raise.
IQ is not a measurement of your crystallized performance, like what you know. It's a measure. It's a measure of pattern recognition. That's literally all it is.
Okay. So we need to up the pattern recognition of cause and effect, right?
Well, generally speaking, lower pattern recognition is not a great thing, no.
Empress, I just want to point out that like nobody originally said that like teaching people critical thought is the end all be all, right? Like obviously everything you've mentioned is.
No, I'm saying it has little to no effect on ideology change.
Well, how do you know? Because the study you mentioned.
Because there's studies on this in relation to college.
Yeah, but that study becomes less and less effective the less we teach critical thought, which was the whole point of my criticism.
Right. So it's a study called Indoctrination U. I believe it's from Penn State. What that study demonstrates is that students who went to college did not have a markedly different change in ideology compared to the general population once you accounted for self-selection in people who attend college, right? So like it doesn't seem to be the case that higher education or more critical thought, which is generally what's covered at liberal arts institutions, it changes the way that your ideology develops. It seems like people's ideologies generally, on average, develop on a path line based on where they were previously. So people who went to college and were right-wing, or were in the general population and were right-wing, over the course of 5 years, became more right-wing on average. Same thing with the left wing.
We get it.
So it doesn't seem like there was any effect by the increase in critical thinking exposure of college.
Does that demonstrate? Okay, but like you say that there's an increase of critical thinking exposure. It depends on the course you take. That's a huge thing. So this might not demonstrate that critical thinking is effective. It might demonstrate that it's not effective or not taught well
enough. Are you
enough.
fuckboys done and girls?
Are you saying
that
are y'all done?
I know you want your attention moment.
Done. Literally.
Calm down.
Sorry, brother. I want to hit
You're not
you
that
again.
important. You're not that important, Redneq. Seriously.
I mean, he kind of is.
Who said that? Who said that? Who said that?
Why do you care?
Are you jealous?
Okay, all right.
Do I make
you jealous? He's so handsome.
Finish your point, and then we're gonna move on because we do have the people waiting past Redneq. So okay,
I cede my time.
Okay,
as
all
OG.
So then it's time, Redneq. It's your time to shine. How are you doing,
Thank
buddy?
you, sir.
Thank you for coming back,
brother. I'm doing good.
Yeah. I'll shout you out real quick. Redneq. He's been on this channel quite a bit, and I'm gonna give him a bit of shout out. He's been kind to us all here. So Redneq, please go ahead.
So, fuck, I don't even know where to start. I mean, this whole thing, I've been listening to this bullshit, I don't know, what, fucking 45 minutes now about what conservatives are. We're fucking Nazis. We're fucking racist. We're unable to comprehend social change. We don't have an ideology of social awareness. You know what? Let me just back this up. You motherfuckers created this bullshit 60 years ago. It was called the Great Civil Rights Act when everybody got their way, supposedly, and the big government stepped in and said, hey, guess what? We're going to change your life for the better, and we're going to help everybody out. How's that turned out? Over the past fucking 60 years, 40 liberal to 1 conservative professor. And you don't want to say indoctrination has been happening? Get the fuck out with your bullshit. And then you want to talk about,
show me evidence. Show me empirics. I can show you empirics. It's not happening right now.
Shut your pie hole. You want to bring up paperwork and say education don't matter? Hold on. I can bring up as much fucking research as I want. I can prove my points with research just like you can. I can take your same fucking study and make my own numbers work out of it. You want to talk about education and you want to slide your little backhand bullshit about, oh, people that aren't highly educated don't know much. Guess what? That's where your skilled fucking workers come from. Your machinists, your fucking people that build your homes. But you bitch ass elitists want to talk about, oh, your IQ is a certain level, so we're going to put your dumb ass on a list because you're going to end up being a conservative.
That's not what I said at all. The list returns. The list returns.
I am vehemently anti-list. I posted this in chat earlier.
I got your ass going. Everybody shut the fuck up. Let me rage. I'm done with you bitches. Y'all need to understand.
He's got to talk. He's got to talk.
You fucking created this bullshit. You actually think that conservatives are just these fucking people out there trying to hold everybody down. You got it twisted.
No.
The actual
I
person,
said far-right authoritarians.
The actual fucking there is no such thing as authoritarian. You motherfuckers on the left are doing the same bullshit.
Yeah, there are far left authoritarians as well. This is true.
Can everybody shut up and let this fucking guy talk? Just let him talk it out. Just let him talk it out.
The whole fucking point is that everybody today thinks that their individual identity matters more than everybody else's, but they want to cry fucking foul if someone doesn't recognize that bullshit. The fact is conservatives are strictly about freedom and independence and less fucking government. You motherfuckers want more government because you think that that's the solution. In actuality, wanting more government is authoritarianism. It's fucking fascism. You motherfuckers don't listen and you just think, oh, I'm gonna project that dude's a racist. So guess what? You're a racist. That dude's a fucking Nazi. Guess what? He's a Nazi. You know what? I'm going to give you a simple example that everybody wanted to hear from the meme that happened with me just the other day when I was driving back from California. Fuck California, Commifornia. They said, can you be considered a racist? Hold on. The fucking question was, can you be called a racist if you say, I hate black people? And I said, well, it's biased, but they don't ask who asked the question or who said the statement. So everything with your guys' ideology on the left is about fucking skin color. It's about fucking race that y'all identify as, but yeah, all that shit's a social construct. No, I'm not finished. I'm going to boil for 10 minutes.
Everyone, hold on. No, thank you. Redneq,
fucking identify on the left. You identify and label and put everybody in these little fucking boxes. Conservatives don't play that game. You stand on your own 2 feet. You don't ask anybody for fucking help except for family and friends, and you take care of your shit. You don't expect the government to hand you some fucking money.
Okay.
And if you do believe this shit actually works, then why is it that fucking 1% of our society serves their fucking country, and yet you bitches are on here talking shit? Serve your country.
Because I don't qualify for service, and I intend to work in the civil sector for our country. I'm literally going into national security. You want to go there, asshole?
What? Empress, guess the fuck
Wait, Redneq, you don't sound like fascism to me.
Stop! Okay, look, Redneq, I need you to finish your point in like the next 30 seconds so we can move on.
Yes, sir. If a fucking transgender wants to serve in the military, good for them. Let's go. I'm all for it. But you motherfuckers talk all that shit about not getting in and then claim, oh, they won't take me. Shut the fuck up with your bullshit. I serve.
Wait, you understand that? You understand that trans person undergoing transition can't.
I'm gonna have to
right?
meet you.
I'm tired of all of you. I'm tired of all you motherfuckers. Exactly. Transition first, then go talk to them. You ain't got to tell them shit. It's HIPAA. You're
they
compliant.
can't join if they transition.
You want to change rules and everything. No. Conservatives just want you to stand on your own. Don't expect the government to give you shit. Second Amendment protects your First Amendment. And if I want to say I fucking hate black people, and I hate purple people, I hate green people, it shouldn't make me a racist or anything. It's just a fucking the dude's bias. Fucking. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't fucking matter. You guys just think I hate white people. I hate white progressives. I hate white leftists. That's the end of my statement. Fuck y'all.
Okay. All right. We got a lot of people who are gonna get in line after this. I know.
Yeah,
But we're gonna go to Clearest and Swamp, and then Nine Tails, Bird Lawyer, and Empress. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Clearest.
You would make me follow that whole tirade. I don't know how to follow that up. So here's the thing. I think honestly, when we talk about diverse opinions and things like that, I think we're missing voices from people like Redneq. As much as you guys want to shit on Redneq and pile on him for all the ludicrous shit that he just said, I totally get that impulse. My point is he needs to be able to come in here, spout his shit, and then you guys need to be able to pick it apart piece by piece without losing your own minds. When you have people come in here and challenge your opinions or challenge your beliefs, you need to be able to stand up and talk to him and have a rational conversation.
I agree with everything Redneq said, by the way.
Okay,
Just
well,
for the
you're
record.
a crazy person. I don't want to talk about that right now. I'm making a general point.
Also, if you want people to do that,
Hold on, let him finish. Hold on. Clearest has been waiting for quite a while. Okay, shut up. Clearest has been waiting for quite a while. Let's be kind,
I think you get a lot of value from having people like Redneq come in here and sharpening your own positions, because you have a lot of times in here you have this echo chamber of people talking to each other and reverb bouncing off the walls. I totally get the impulse to want to sit around and agree with each other and suck each other's dicks. But the point is, you have to be able to have Redneq come in here and spout his shit like this. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Just fucking let him talk his shit and figure it out, and then just sort it out like this, like reasonable people.
That's right. We all love sucking dicks. All right, Swamp Fox, go ahead.
Hey, Redneq. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that would be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for listening to it.
Bro.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
The point I made. Thank you, you dumb fuck. You just proved my point. We're telling you. I'm telling you. You think your fucking comments are good? You're alienating yourself, because a majority of the people that are sitting here laughing actually get what I'm saying, and they actually think that way, but they're too scared to come on here and actually say it.
I mean,
Half of America,
What?
half of fucking America agrees with me. You just don't know it.
And agrees with you on which point? Because every empiric claim you made was
Hey, Redneq, it's still my turn. We're claiming my time. We're claiming my time.
Okay,
I've had my hand up this entire time.
No,
Did you
that's
not see
fine.
it?
Yeah, I know. Lots of people have their hand up. So don't worry, you're after Nacho Charmhole.
Can
okay?
I finish?
Finish your point.
Okay, so I used to be on the right, but then I realized that Trump's a narcissist and a fucking crybaby, and I started looking at other ideals and opening my mind a little bit. And the more research that I did, oddly, right, the more shit started to make sense to me, like universal healthcare, UBI, things like that. I still like guns. Like you threw the gun argument in there, which was just wild. I don't understand that at all. But yeah. Like,
yeah, because bitches don't understand guns.
Yeah, and like we all agree that half the population probably feels the same way you are, because like half the population, including me at the time, voted for Trump.
Okay. Are we good? All right. So moving on. We have Ninetails, Bird Lawyer, Empress, Nacho, and Charmhole. Oh, and then Simplecon, I see you.
So I think it was funny, excuse me, that we were just talking about, what makes it easier to be a conservative. I personally think it's easier just to have a bullshit take and not be criticized by your peers for it. But I think what Redneq has proved is that what conservatives like to do, and we're just going to take him for example because he came here to prove what a conservative actually was, is they like to straw man everything that their opponents think about things, because they probably can't address their actual arguments. Secondly, he came in here and told us about how the left is constantly essentializing people, constantly generalizing them and putting them into these boxes. As he did that, as he made no categories between leftists, and as he lumped all of their views into the same box. This is the exact same thing he was trying to criticize. Here we are. And what are we supposed to take away from this other than that Redneq just wanted to return the favor, apparently?
It's called a mirror, Ninetails. You look at it all the time, don't
But how does this prove your point?
I'm showing you bitches exactly what you do all fucking day. I'm your mirror. Enjoy it.
I literally
Well, no, that's the problem is that I don't do that all day, so you're
I have
wrong.
103 hours in 30 days on the largest politics server on Discord. If you want to sit here and tell me I don't engage with conservatives and have no idea what conservatism is, but I spent the last 4 years fucking not canvassing, but doing activism and doing political work in central fucking Pennsylvania, like you have no idea who I am. You made that argument to the worst possible person you could have made that argument to. By the way, I also support the Second Amendment and will ensure that my rights are protected through it as well. Just putting it out there.
Very
But yeah,
So
apparently the standard.
You're not
full stop
unique,
Second
bro.
Amendment supporter. You're
Apparently-
a full stop second.
As it's written, yes.
Nine Tails, finish your point.
As it written where?
Nine Tails.
In the Constitution.
Finish your point. Nine Tails,
Okay.
keep talking.
And Redneq, I'm a Second Amendment supporter
Nine
too. Just so you're
Tails.
aware.
Are you Nine Tails? No. Nine Tails, please, finish your point.
But yeah, clearly, when it's easier for Redneq to do what he does because he has no standards for himself, and I'm pretty sure the left just has more standards in general.
Okay, all right.
Pick an argument. We'll go. Me and you. Let's go. Pick an argument. You already started your bullshit when I first got in here. Let's go.
Why don't we
Pick a
start with the
topic.
first point?
Anything trans,
The first point that you
anytime.
disputed about indoctrination universities. We could start there because I've supplied my empirics. I want to see yours.
Okay, all right.
What were your empirics?
Yeah, the indoctrination U study from Penn State that I can DM it to you as well. Give me 1 second.
Okay, let's go to Bert Lawyer.
It's funny that you.
Sorry,
seem
Cambridge,
to
not Penn.
not- It seems funny that you don't seem to know anybody about anything about anybody in this chat because I've served in the military. So the idea that that leftists can't like serve the in the armed forces or can't be like productive members of this society. That's bullshit. The idea that like you want smaller business when you voted for like presumably voted for Trump, who increased deficit spending immensely over his 4 years, is also laughable. Empress probably has thousands of sources on the whole indoctrination thing, so that's more her wheelhouse than I want to go into right now. But that's I just find it funny.
So, okay, we'll go to Empress next, but everyone, don't donate $50 to give it a Redneq. At least not yet. Redneq's got to be able to actually make his point. You know, he came here to engage. No.
I already did it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
We rain checked.
That was big.
By the way, Redneq, I
engagement is very
entirely
limited.
agree with you on the
You need to
disappearing
raise that
conservative
rate.
professor front. I just want to put that out there. That is completely true. My argument
That's-
isn't
that
that
was
that's
my
not
point. There's a
happening. My
40 to
argument,
1
hang on.
fucking-
My
come on, Empress.
hang on, please. My argument isn't that that's not happening. My argument is that it doesn't have an effect on student ideology, and you can't supply evidence that it does, because this has been empirically shown to not be the case.
Okay, hang on, Empress. I'm going to be as based in my as good faith in my argument right now back with you, and I'm trying to be completely serious. You acknowledge that my argument was when I said 40 to 1, and I just gave you two different
Yeah, that's
things
true.
that you can look at,
That is
both
true.
written by doctors as well. Okay, but you questioned me and said, well, you said it doesn't really show an effect though. Yet
Correct.
I told you if you look at the leanings of the colleges and the you say education matters, then if you're saying that you're teaching everything from a leftist perspective because the professors outnumber the
It's not trying to be
teachers
leftist.
take
It's
in
trying to
their
be liberal primarily.
Yeah, it's
there is
not
a difference.
leftist.
Yeah, they're
Okay,
shown, so
okay,
most professors are moderate liberal or moderate like left, right? So they're not far left. They're
sure.
moderate left.
So if you guys you literally were making the argument that conservatives actually with their ideology indoctrinate the students, but yet you're now conceding that there are more leftist
I argued against
professors,
that,
just like I said. But you're saying but you're okay. I was making the point against whoever was arguing that point, saying this is the bullshit. Because if you're saying it, the conservatives do it, and I can show you that there's a 40 to 1 disparity, then you have to accept that the left is doing it and they have a greater mass of numbers. That's why when you're in your teens and when you're in your early 20s, you're usually very liberal, you're very progressive, you want change, you want it all. Then you start adulting. Then you start having to pay back all those bills that you had to raise during the time you went to fucking college, and they oversold you a bunch of goods.
I'm
Then
30.
you become an
Redneq.
adult and start becoming more conservative.
Yeah, I'm 30.
And in your 30s,
The same study I linked contradicts
30s.
this idea, by the way. So the study I linked shows that if you were, again, right, from ages 18 to 25, right, if you were left leaning, you became more left leaning over time. And if you were right leaning, you became more right leaning over time. And if you were in the center, you either moved moderate one way or the other or stayed in the center, right? So what you're saying about people radically changing their ideology from progressive left wingers to like conservatives in their more adult years is just
No,
not
that's
true.
see
There is
again.
no evidence to show that this is
Look,
the case empirically. Same study.
Empress, take everything I'm saying to the Tucker Carlson and the fucking farthest right and the farthest left. Don't think about everything being in the center. You're talking to someone that identifies himself as an independent conservative before I even came on these fucking panels, and then you guys said, "Oh, you need to take an 8 values test." I am actually more socially
values is
liberal
bullshit.
than
I agree
most
with you.
fucking liberals. I'm
all,
just
all
saying,
those things are bullshit.
Independence, personal responsibility, and independence is, I believe, what the majority of conservatives of today truly believe in. And when we say smaller government, what we mean is we don't need a bureaucracy of over what do we have now? 14 million federal employees. Seriously, you guys think that this is all good, and you keep voting for more of it and more of it and more of it because you enjoy the nanny state, and that is a very leftist ideology in America today. It is.
But the massive police state is okay, right? That's not a government overreach at all.
Fuck no! I hate them. Hey, see again.
Okay.
Again,
All right.
a conservative of today doesn't want any of this bullshit.
That's not true.
That's
Empirically
not
not true.
entirely
That's
true.
a no
no.
true Scotsman fallacy.
Empirically,
You might be
your
one of
word
the good ones,
empirically is-
Redneq.
Wow. Empirically, bull fucking shit. Because if you want to
Yes,
go
if you look
empirical,
at the average
let's go ahead
view
and
of
talk about who
conservatives in the
created
United
the
States,
state.
they
Who
support current
created the
policing
fucking
methods. There's
state?
stronger
Who
policing. They
created
support
the
stop and
police
frisk.
state?
Like this is like
Who
I can
created
show
the
you
police-
this.
Okay.
Conservatives
They're
did.
called fucking
So,
Democrats.
Conservatives did with broken windows.
Democrats
and
support
like
stop
that.
and frisk.
We do need to move down with because other people do want to talk. So
Yeah, we do.
I'll let.
Michael Bloomberg.
They did. They don't anymore.
The next person who is in line is Nacho, who's talking to his chat. But Nacho, I would love to hear from you.
Sorry.
No
I
problem.
was just saying my list is just growing and growing because we started from responsible platforming and we were talking about giving basically our recap on what just happened, and then we started to sort of touch on Vivian and some of the stuff she was saying in the list, and then immediately we just started hearing everybody who sounds like they have no understanding of what conservatism actually is start to try to explain to everybody else what conservatism is and all the faults of it. So I don't really know how we got here, but you can look it up. I'm not even really a conservative. I'm like libertarian right-ish. But I do know that there is like core tenets of conservatism, and most of them go against the majority of what you guys were even talking about. We've like attributed racism, authoritarianism, something about being mentally disabled, and I can't even read what I wrote because I was scribbling so fast.
Forgive me for
and being uneducated and ignorant. So I don't really know how we got here.
I think there's an
you could have
important
taken
distinction
way
to be
better
made
notes.
because this conversation started talking about fascists, the far right authoritarians, which is what many of those comments were referring to, and I think that's a little dishonest in the way that they're framed. And then it was changed to talk about conservatives generally, right? So we literally came into this conversation talking about politics server and far right fascists on that server and the effect that they have. It is
All I'm
very
saying
dishonest to say that
is-
someone made the comment that all conservatives are mentally disabled or even implied something anywhere near that. You were
I mean, it
talking
was-
specifically about a subgroup, and we were talking specifically about a subgroup correlation, right? Like it wasn't. I just want to make sure it's okay. So I just want to make sure.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm summarizing a lot here because I'm like scribbling down notes as fast as I can. I guess something that I definitely wanted to talk about was it's easier to be a conservative, or like I don't think it's easier to be either. You know, political pundits do an excellent job of framing all of their ideologies based around fear, especially on both sides, and even the left. I would argue is probably more emotionally based. You know, I mean, I would say it's just as easy to be liberal because look, I have a heart. I understand. I would love to live in a perfect utopia and be able to give everybody everything and just share all the wealth. And it
That's not what
sounds
liberals
great.
want.
I mean, executing it. Well, I'm just
You're
pointing out that it
conflating
tends-
liberals with leftists. I just think that's an important distinction to make.
Okay. Well, still, I'm just trying to make the argument that I don't think it's easier to be one thing or the other. I think you could make the argument just the same to say that it's easier to be a liberal because you just make decisions based off of your emotions and say, yes, we want to take care of everybody or whatever. You know, like I said, I'm generalizing and I'm trying to sum up all these different points that were touched on. And somebody said something about not being conservative because of something that had to do with Trump. Trump is not a conservative. He's not even really right. He's like a classic Democrat. I think he actually identifies as that and has identified as that. Like most of his.
No.
I don't know all of Trump's background, but I would make the argument that that Obama was probably more conservative than Trump ever was.
Okay, Nacho, can I ask you something, please?
Based off of policy. So
can I ask you something? What is the difference between a classical liberal and a classical Democrat?
That's just how. I don't know if I'm being completely honest. This is just something that Trump himself had claimed to be, or at some point or another. So this is how he was describing himself.
Nacho.
So
if I remember correctly,
well, self-identification doesn't really matter for much.
That what was the active vote count as of November 3rd? Because all I'm saying is Trump did have an active vote lead, right? Or is it a little?
Wait, do you not understand how mail-in ballots worked and how demonizing the process of sending mail-in ballots can give you a big disadvantage when a lot of people are staying home due to a fucking global pandemic?
So you're telling me a whole bunch of different states were all sitting tidy at home, flipping through a bunch of papers, going, "Oh yeah."
Yes, because people don't want to die.
No, that's not what anyone's saying. What everyone is saying is that for 6 months, Biden and the Democratic Party went, "Please mail in your ballots. Please mail in your ballots." Trump and the entire Republican Party was just sitting there going, "Oh no, if you mail in your ballot, it's going to be fraud. If you mail in your ballot, it's going to be fraud." And then all of a sudden, the argument was
and it was fraud. And it was fraud in a lot of these states.
Prove it.
Hang
Prove it
on.
empirically, Redneq. I want you to
see,
prove
this was the
empirically.
bait. This was the bait. Redneq. This is exactly why we talked about how does voting have anything to do with any of what I said?
It's empirical.
Next week.
Okay, Swamp.
Bullshit.
Oh, sorry, not Swamp. Excuse me.
Yes, you have to give evidence.
Nacho. Excuse me, Nacho. Swamp, I see you. You're on the list.
Empress, I've had this argument on fucking stream. You can look it up, or I'll just tell you the state, and then you could read the fucking the whole article, and you could go ahead and study.
I would love to. Please DM it to me. I'll take a look at it right now. Actually,
DM it to me too. I would love to read it.
Wisconsin. Watch the Supreme Court. Yes, watch the Supreme Court of Wisconsin completely say, okay, so because people voted illegally, we don't want to disenfranchise because they didn't know they were voting illegally. So we want to create a system called latches because we don't want to disenfranchise those people that voted illegally. So they acknowledge that they voted illegally, but the Supreme Court decided to kick it to the lower court and let that lower court judge.
Yeah, were they using illegally as a quote?
Because I'm pretty sure that case was relating to whether or not they filled out their ballot properly and signed it properly, not whether or not they voted illegally. I'm pretty sure that's what that case is about. But I want to see the article to make sure.
Yeah. Okay. So if you have an article, sure.
Well, just DM it to me. Post it in chat.
If you haven't, post that, please.
Before that,
so hold on. We got a list to go down. But Nacho, Charmo, you're on the list. I don't know what you're fine. You're on the list.
No, I'm just freaking out about cheese flavored ice cream.
I want it. Corn flavored ice cream is amazing.
I've had that, Professor.
That sounds
it's
horrible.
really good.
Sorry, no.
I actually almost hurled. I wasn't faking there. I literally almost hurled. I'm not even kidding.
Flavored ice cream.
Nacho.
It's not.
Nacho.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Maybe there's nacho flavored ice cream. I don't know. Sorry. Anyway, sorry.
Hopefully not.
Nacho. We're going to have a fight. We are going to have a fight about Trump not being conservative, and somehow being a Democrat now. Okay,
I have points about
that fight.
I want to talk about.
That fight is coming. But we'll put it off for a second until we're finished with this thing.
I also can quickly just say that I posted it if anybody wants to read it. It's just some obscure blog that I found, but the majority of it's all the same. I posted a link that's the core tenets of conservatism in the chat for anyone who wants to read that.
Okay. Charmhole, Simlican, and then Swamp. Oh, Clearest, you got your hand up.
No, I simply agree with everything Redneq says.
Okay.
He speaks for me at this point.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Simlicon, Swamp, Clearest. And then.
All right, some bullet points. Redneq, you came in here immediately saying we're all talking about conservatives demonstrate we all think you're the extreme bad example of it when just before you got here we were discussing that there are people who identify as conservatives that aren't the loud minority, just the same as on the left. I don't know. I think that's kind of dishonest on your part. You said like conservatives value freedom, community based on, like similarity with each other and less government. I don't think that necessarily excludes regulation when you get a bunch of people together, expanding that community and, maybe like an ideal leadership that isn't corrupted. I think we'd all love to have a government that isn't like, a bunch of rich guys that play golf and make plans to screw us over. My thoughts on liberalism invading university. I think I agree with the people who are saying that like people kind of decide their path before they go into school. My experience, like I went like through the arts, I studied literature, lots of left-leaning people, and then you go into the STEM community, lots of right-leaning people. They were, I think there's some stuff going on beforehand, but I think we're all just, at the end of the day, it's just an idea that doesn't work anymore, that nobody wants to take the blame for, right? Like we're all like $40,000 in debt, and we're like, oh yeah, the university is a terrible idea, and like everybody's mad about it. But at the end of the day, I don't think that is a crucial part of what's creating these extreme examples of things.
Wait, are you anti-debt?
No, I always keep a little bit of debt, like in case like some Fight Club stuff goes down and everything gets erased, right? Like you gotta keep a little debt and never pay it all back. But ultimately though, I don't know, man. I think choosing a side and being so passionate about it, I think ultimately that's losing the game, right? Like I think the whole point of everything is to make us like this, like where we just can't fucking agree. But I think if we all sat down, put things aside and stuff, like except for of course extreme examples, I think people have.
Okay, so you're taking the radical centrist take. I get it. That we can all if we just talk it out, if we just sat down together and talked it out, it would.
We can find common ground.
We can find common ground. We can have common sense gun reform, and everyone will agree to that. Interesting. I'm just having fun with you. I'm just having fun with you. I want you to know that. But
no. I'll concede to the enlightened centrist meme, but I don't agree that it means I'm actually defending the far right. I hate that assumption.
No. Fair enough. No. I wasn't saying that. Just want to make that clear. So we have Swamp, Clearus, Soltar, Frank.
Hey, so I think the common ground argument, like, I don't think it's fair to play it down, right? So, like, you can find common ground. Like, you're not going to get people to change teams if you're shitting on them every fucking day, right? Like, can we all agree? Like, you're only going to make people more angry and hate you more. Like, nobody's going to change teams. I changed teams, and that was because fucking DeCobes and Proudly Radical were nice to me. And they actually explained their position, right?
Literally every worker and laborer is a shit eater, so your point is invalid.
Okay, cool, Sean. Thanks for the take. But what I'm saying is you're not going to get people to join your team or whatever if you shit on them every day. Like maybe like the common ground argument, like I know like fuck Nazis, fuck racists, but if you find common ground with people that and at least they have some sort of trust in you, there's going to be opportunities to share like what is actually going on and bring those people over. Like people change over time. Like nobody stays the same. Like any kind of like ridiculous views are usually learned behavior, right? Like nobody just like wakes up and it's like I'm freaking a Nazi or whatever. Like it's learned behavior.
Really, you're saying fascism?
It's learned behavior. Yeah, it's not in the DSRM, Charmhole. So it's learned behavior. Yes.
Genetics exists.
Yes, the
behavior
fascism
is part of the zipper. Okay.
Absolutely, yes.
Listen, you have to have fibers that connect the zipper to the coat. Okay. Like you don't only have the zipper. Do you understand?
Like when I was a baby, like when we were all babies, we probably pooped in our pants, right? Until our parents potty trained us.
So
yeah,
same take, same fucking take. Shut up, Charmhole. I'm gonna pay Prime $50 again.
Okay.
See, that's amazing. This dude just said you keep shitting on people and they're not gonna, and that's all you do. Since I've been on, you just shit on people. You're
When
pretty
somebody
cool with
says
this,
no-
like the
Who, me? I did shit.
No, I don't think
Okay.
he was talking about you.
Redneck,
but,
I think you're a beautiful, handsome man. I'm just gonna put it out there. You see, like I'd love to talk
Can
with
you
you.
respond to me?
Empress, I appreciate the compliment. Thank you very much. I actually get more. Actually get hit on more by gay men and trans than I do
Not what
actually
I'm
straight women.
implying.
So just
Luckily,
saying,
I've got two
appreciate
partners.
that.
Two is enough.
No, that's what I heard. Empress, look. Keeping the DMs.
I'm
right,
just
buddy?
saying, I have no bad blood here. I
Empress,
just disagree with you.
Nope, that's not what I heard. Empress, again, keeping the DMs. This
Look,
is a
I'm gonna get you that gamer girl, Prime. I'm gonna get you that gamer girl.
This is a family
Keep
show,
it in
so.
your pants.
Empress, by any chance, are
Redneck looks like Brother Ali's father.
Oh my God, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
That's it.
Ali's father. Yep, and I'm only an hour away. I think he might be my lost son.
Okay, let's go to let's go. Oh man, I'll escalate it really quickly. Let's go to Clear. Swamp. Just so you know, Swamp Fox, your like mic is like a little freaking out. It's like kind of a static type thing.
Crackly.
Yeah, it's a crackly. I don't know. Work on that, but it's
keep
not.
shitting on people.
It's because I'm not. What?
It's just so you know that maybe work on that. Maybe
Yeah.
listen back to the VOD so you can understand what you're. What
It's the
we're listening to.
Easy YouTube video up in the background.
Let's
My bad, guys.
go. Let's go. Clearest Saltar than Frank.
Yeah, so I don't know. I had to real quick. I had to push back on the Trump was more liberal than Obama comment. Just a couple of things that came to mind. You know, when after that was said was Obama expanding the healthcare reform plan, or basically Obama expanding healthcare reform and basically expanding government assistance. Trump trying to roll that back and allow insurance companies to discriminate against people for pre-existing conditions. Trump's appointees are almost entirely focused on dismantling their agencies that they were appointed to, EPA, the Secretary of Labor. Trump also took almost every single one of his judge appointees from the Federalist Society. So these are not, from my understanding anyway, substantiated by anything that you could possibly bring up. I mean, maybe there's some weird
Claire, so can I ask you something?
Sure, go ahead.
Federalists are extremists to the Constitution in your eyes, correct?
I wouldn't say that they're extremists in Constitution to the Constitution. I think they have a warped thinking about originalist theory that they got from Scalia.
Their actual charter is to follow the Constitution of the Bill of Rights as written and to preserve that as the foundation.
Is that
And
not
yet-
conservative?
Yeah, I disagree. I think they're warped originalists. I think they're warped originalists that have a ridiculous idea.
What I'm
of
trying to explain to y'all
originalism
is that constitutionalists today are what you would call the most liberal there are, because the Constitution gives you more fucking freedoms than even the ideology that the left is preaching today. It
Only gives you
guarantees
negative
your right
liberties,
to be able
though.
to talk and say all these things.
I vehemently disagree here. The Constitution only gives you negative liberties. It gives you freedoms from, not freedoms to. So, like,
No, the Bill of Rights,
gross.
the Constitution guarantees your inalienable
Making
right.
slavery legal as long as you're incarcerated.
Yeah,
is a very
well,
good
so-
idea. Nice.
Okay, 1 second. And then we'll get back to this. $50 was paid, and I think I will raise the rate on that. I think it's actually my time to raise the rate on that one. But $50 was paid. And charm hole.
Second night in a row, Charles.
Please,
Jeez.
Prime, please, just real quick. I promise, like
Sure.
10 seconds.
Do you need to say something, Home? Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Redneck. So, the Bill of Rights.
What? Oh, obviously. Sorry. Hold on. 1 second. I gotta.
You gotta kick Charmhole out first.
Charmhole, and we'll get back to this. And so, yeah,
We're in the middle
Charmhole.
of something here, man.
Sorry, buddy. Come back again tomorrow, and we love to have you. Not, and I'm not saying that because people are kicking you. I'm saying we love to have you. You have anything else you want to say?
Oh, that's all right.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
If I may finish,
Sounded a bit torn up.
Seemed like he was on
almost
acid or
sad.
something.
I may speak for him. So much for the tolerant left.
No, there you go. All right.
Get wrecked.
Get
wrecked, Prime.
Yeah, apparently. Damn. But I'm gonna raise the rates. Don't worry. I'm gonna raise the rates on that one.
$100.
You said you wanted to say something really quick, and then we're gonna go down that list because if people
Yeah. Just real fast. So Redneq, the Bill of Rights are the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. So like changes to the Constitution. So I don't really understand how you would address that.
Well, do you understand how the process of changing the Constitution works?
Yeah,
Which
through
one?
the process of amendments, which I just brought up.
Do you understand how you get a process of amendment started? Do you know what what that entails?
Yeah, let me go ahead and pull down my
3.
Constitution book real quick, but I'll let you lecture me real quick, and then I'll
No, I mean, I'm
reference
just
over
saying
here
it's a
off
very
screen.
hard fucking
No,
thing.
go for
It's not easy. You have to get
Right.
38
I'm just
30-some
addressing what you
states.
said. I'm just addressing what you said earlier. Where
In
you
what way?
Or
you tried to make
supermajority in
Bringing
both
a
houses.
fucking
I think there was like a
you tried to make some kind of
make
yeah
it
you tried to make some kind of point about the Constitution being like I don't want to put words in your mouth, right? But you
That's
ignore
what
the
I'm saying.
fact
So
that
your
amendments
perception of
exist
what
in
I
the
said.
Constitution.
What I'm saying is that our rights are actually not defined by the Constitution. It basically is saying that as we see ourselves and how we choose to live in our society is protected with that document.
Well,
and the two most
it
important
is a
amendments.
freedom
That's
from,
not what you
it
said.
it is an acknowledgement that the people have these rights and the state won't infringe upon them. This is how it's phrased. Sorry, I'm a political
Correct.
scientist. This is a pet peeve of mine.
No, Empress, I'm deferring to you to word what I'm saying clearly so everybody else comprehends it. But inalienable rights, the rights given to you by your creator, and it doesn't define who
Yes,
you choose as
correct.
your creator. That is what the document founded. And to me, Federalist, from my understanding, you're the science professor, the political science professor. They
Not a professor,
live
not a
off
professor.
of that.
It's a joke. The name is a joke. Sorry.
He's professor.
Are we talking about the Constitution or
okay,
I don't want to
please.
overinflate my credentials.
Let's move this along. Let's move this
Federalists
along.
themselves believe in the core. Federalists themselves identify today, the ones that you're saying that Trump elected, they identify with that foundation as being what is literally what they're supposed to operate under. And the bigger the government, the worse that problem becomes, because the more government, the less of those rights we actually, I mean, the more things that are taken away from us that are already supposed to be granted to us.
This isn't
And
inherently
I'll give you a perfect example. Marriage. Every state requires us to have a marriage license. We dictate who can marry who in some
They don't
states.
require
still.
you to.
Empress, come on. I'm trying to actually give you a better argument for your fucking self. But as a conservative, I don't give a fuck who wants to get married to who. I don't care. It's none of the government's business.
That's flying in the face of a lot of rhetoric.
To get a marriage license.
That flies in the face of a lot of conservative rhetoric too. The idea that anybody, yes, it is. Are you kidding me? They've
Depends
been
on what
fighting
kind of
like gay
conservative.
marriage for years and years and years. What the fuck are you on about?
This is why citing the Constitution as gospel is pointless too. Like every rule is always broke.
I'm
Like
gonna,
it's, you know,
I'm gonna move down the list.
Just a list of.
I'm gonna move down the list. I'm gonna move down the list. People have been waiting. Soltar, Frank.
All right, so I just want to start off by saying, Redneq, you came in like a fireball at the beginning of this, and I absolutely appreciate that. We need more rhetoric that starts off like that, because I realistically think like my one criticism of the left has always been this: we've always been reactionary. We've never been the ones that come in like a fireball like this.
What?
But now, no, seriously, we've never been the ones that. No, hold on, let me finish my thought. We're
Have you ever
always
seen
reactionary.
Vivian?
Let's Soltar, please.
Let me go.
Soltar.
However,
Wrong.
Now, so I'm going to however this, because if I had a nickel for every time I heard every talking point that Redneq opened up with, I would have a lot of nickels, because I live in a state where there's 120 Republicans and 22 Democrats in the state legislature so far. I probably by far live in one of the most conservative states in the nation. And the argument never changes. You have to be a veteran in order to be an American. Conservatives are all about freedom, always. I mean, that's the argument that you hear every single time. And
Not
like,
true.
and I also want to state too, like in defense of Redneq, and I hope that everyone in here can agree. No one in here at any time stated that all conservatives are racist, Nazis, fascists.
Yeah, no, that's
et cetera.
ridiculous.
Yeah, no,
Not even close,
Yeah,
actually.
no. So like, I just wanted to point that out, because that was I have a lot of list things that I'm just trying to kind of quickly get through.
Take your time.
Yeah, and then the one thing, like speeding things forward about the Constitution. is that like the best thing I was ever taught was from a politics teacher in high school. And he always taught that the Constitution gives you rights so far as those rights infringe upon somebody else. And so that is when things like freedom of speech become very contentious, because where does that infringe upon someone else's rights? You know, if you call them racial slurs, now, is that necessarily protection of freedom of speech? I don't necessarily think so, but freedom of speech does not necessarily protect. Freedom of speech is not freedom from criticism. I think that's the best way to put it. Like, so if someone makes these terms, like, sure, criticize the hell out of them for saying it. But it's
Criticism is
just
cancel culture, so like
what?
criticism is cancel culture, so I don't really, you know.
Well, I guess define that, I guess, because I don't see how criticism is
Oh,
cancel
whenever
culture
you
necessarily.
criticize somebody, it's cancel culture.
Okay, well,
It's a big example of saying the wrong thing, getting your ass kicked. Like it's like a celebrity doing
hate
something.
speech.
Enough people agree that they don't want them around anymore. But like you know, it's a mob. Then you get into mob mentality, and how much is that valuable? And
Saltar, have you finished your point?
yeah, and then just to kind of finish my point, the one thing that I'm going to ask for from Redneq, and this is from you, and everyone needs to give him the opportunity to do this. When you bring up a point, and I don't care which point it is throughout this entire debate, I want you to bring up one empirical study that can be shared to the entirety of Twitch chat, to the entirety of Discord, wherever it is. I need an empirical study that we can look at. Because a lot of the arguments, and this is no
There's
criticism
no
on you,
such thing
Redneq.
as an empirical study. Study is debatable down to the infinite. So y'all want to always bring up empirical for everything you want me to prove to you. You can say, oh, wrong website. I don't agree with it. There's studies on both sides of every argument. So you guys want to always defer to that. Well, it isn't on paper. It isn't certifiable.
If
Yet
you have
then
evidence, I'm
agree to
willing
the
to
history
evaluate
and
it
the
honestly.
context.
Yeah, I want to
I see-
evaluate
no,
evidence.
But
That's
like,
all I'm asking.
I'm not just
I
going
will
to take
argue-
your
I
word
will
that it's
argue-
true.
Yeah,
And
I'm not either.
I will argue my points with your data, and I will then go and look at the other
That's
data.
fine. I'd
Because
love you
guess
to.
what?
I
The
would love
majority.
you to.
Here's my
Let him
point.
talk.
The majority of this data that you guys already conceded, you admit, is coming from academia that leans 40-1 liberal. So all your bullshit empirical data is going to be slanted already. It's kind of funny.
Prove it.
It is
Prove
kind of
you,
funny.
you can say that, but you can't prove it.
Yeah,
Okay.
the burden of
I tell you
proof is
what.
in your
I tell you
corner,
what. Bring up one
Redneq.
topic. Hang on. I tell you what. I bring up PragerU. You motherfuckers all blow your mind. Would you? Oh fuck PragerU.
You're not a university.
Wait, PragerU.
They're a nonprofit.
I think
They
really the
they
larger
changed
point
their name
is here,
to
Redneq.
PragerU because
Redneck,
Prager University was
Redneck.
misleading.
I think the larger point is here.
empirical
It's
evidence.
easy.
One at a time.
Redneck. I think the
They
larger
don't
point
use
is here is
empirics,
that
they
it's
use
easy.
opinions.
Hang on one second. I think the larger point is that it's easier to come in and start spouting off a string of non sequiturs to make a bunch of accusations, talk a lot of stuff, and then not have to substantiate any of it. When you come in here or
No, here's
Nacho
fine.
American Nacho comes in and says
Let him finish, please.
when American Nacho, somebody comes in and says, Trump was more liberal than Obama and has nothing else to say about it. That seems to
Well, I
me.
was also reading off a list of several things that I was pointing out, and we had gotten way off topic, and Prime decided that we should table that for now. So that's why I didn't say anything.
And
else
we will
about that.
definitely get back to that. Please don't go away, Nacho. I really want to do this.
So I wasn't just saying things and not following up. There's a reason.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So, well, yeah. Again, we'll have that discussion at some point. My point is that it's just an example. If you're coming in here and you're doing something like that, and you're listing off a bunch of non sequiturs and just talking in a Gish Gallop kind of way, then it's hard to combat any single one of your points.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and I would just
You
like
know,
to
okay,
add
I'll
to
tell you
that.
what. I'll tell you
I had
what.
to
If
go
you
after, like,
guys,
it took
if you-
like 30 minutes.
Redneq,
so-
you can respond. Then Sultar, I'll let you finish
I'm
whatever
just
you
gonna
were
be real
doing, so
quick,
I
and
can
then
move on.
I'll be
Nacho,
really quick.
And Nacho, I apologize, and I'll come back. And Soder, I'm just saying, I appreciate what you're saying, but again, I've done this with y'all. I've played y'all's game where if I say something that is a lesson that's lived, or it's anecdote Andy time, or oh, your feelings don't fucking matter. See, no matter what evidence you bring up, I already started my argument when I came in saying it doesn't matter what you guys say. You could find evidence that both sides can use and make their points out of. We all know this. What I go off of is my life experience. It's interacting with actual people. It's actually going outside of this fucking room and getting off this internet and actually shaking people's hands and getting to know people and seeing what they're about and what they believe. Nobody in this fucking chat tonight wants government to control everything about them. I could guarantee that. But that would make you a conservative in the mindset of a lot of the ideology that's being espoused on
Stop. We got to move on. We got to move on. It's going to take forever.
Sorry. So, and the dish galloping for clear. Hey, I've been getting hyped up in chat to come in here and give a little bit of a performance. That's what I do for this channel. I've been doing it from day one. Don't fucking knock my game. Just play your own and mind your goddamn business. You got me? Thank you.
I'm just trying to add some structure to the point where you're coming in talking a lot of shit and you're not substantiating.
Okay,
all right.
So sorry, finish your point so we can move on to Frank.
Hey, Prime. Can I quickly just sign off? I just want to say thanks for having me.
We love you, Nine Tails.
Thank you, and everyone tune in tomorrow for the Prime Royale. I'll be there, and if you liked me, come vote for me.
You
Have a
have
good
my
night.
head vote.
Have a good one. Everyone go,
sub to Prime.
Yeah, damn right. Okay. So Sultan, finish your point, please. Then we can move with Frank.
So, like, the one thing that I just lastly wanted to finish with saying is that one of the hardest things to debate when it comes to debating conservative ideologies and liberal ideologies is that 9 times out of 10, I hear this argument every single time, is that conservatives love to open up the argument of saying that, well, whatever it is that you offer my direction, that's just fake news, no matter what. And that's
Also,
what
here's
are we
a graph from the study I mentioned
what are we
earlier.
supposed to base
Who are you
any
debating?
of our thoughts or facts on when a conservative will just say and open up and just say, well, anything that you share to me, any empirical evidence, any measurements, any facts, anything like that,
Like this was
it's
the
just
claim
all
that I
wrong.
actually made, and then they turned it into someone in chat was even saying Republic. I'm sorry, I was pressing a button when I shouldn't have been.
Okay. All right. Let's. No problem. So let's move on to
Frank.
Frank.
That's all I wanted to finish.
Okay, who wanted Frank, and then maybe we might go back to Nacho because I really wanted to engage with that topic. Go ahead, Frank.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well, I may be taking it on a completely different course here, but I just want to ask Redneq, like abstracted from the Constitution, how do you feel about gun rights? Hello?
Redneq?
You said it's abstract. Take the Constitution out of it. What I feel about gun rights?
Yes.
I think everybody should be able to defend themselves as they seem that they need to, at whatever that degree is. And I believe that if someone is in power over you, has a weapon, you should be able to have the same weapon because it's an equalizer. So
you see firearms as a tool to basically better defend yourself.
It's if you don't have firearms, if we could melt every one of them down right now, it still wouldn't stop people from getting killed. They would use rocks. They would use bows, arrows made, we know this primitive tools have existed. So it's technology that's been used, and I'm going to use every bit of it I can to defend myself.
That's such a bad argument for guns.
Why?
What that is?
I'm a gun guy
people are
too.
Go ahead and do
I'm
it anyway.
saying I like guns, but that's such a terrible argument.
Why?
There's so many better ones. You could just be like, "Fuck you, I'm selfish, and I want to have my guns." Is a better argument than that.
The less guns that
I said if you
exist in an area,
hang
the
on,
less people
guys,
die
you don't
from
listen.
guns.
He asked me a question abstract of the Constitution, right, Frank?
Yep.
And I said, if all guns were melted down, then I wouldn't have a gun issue. I would have a rock issue. And if we didn't have rocks or knew how to, chip at the rocks, you guys, you focus on the tool. I'm trying to explain to you, I look past the tool. I just want the best tool available that's currently available for me to protect myself against whoever might have the tool to kill me with.
But you go straight to
that's kind of what I was curious about.
It's a terrible argument for self-defense.
But you see how the tool can be used to create more harm than a rock would, right? You can't do as much harm with a rock than you can with a gun.
Well, I think what he's trying to say is that you're trying to match the harm.
Gun to take care of business. You guys are just fascinated by how the business is done. The business still gets done. You can carry a screwdriver, an ice pick, a fork, a spoon, a fucking pencil.
But
Jesus Christ, you guys literally pick tools.
Guns.
Yes, but they're more dangerous than your hand.
I think if I can go ahead. Sorry,
my take on it, Redneck. I'm
give me 1 second here.
That's just a terrible argument for guns. I wanted you to have a good one, but that was a bad argument.
Sorry.
Frank
has been waiting. Please, Frank.
Yes. I think what I'm gonna say is I don't think self-defense is the best argument, but I think it's definitely valid to some degree. I think what Redneq, just to give him some sort of credit, is trying to say is that he wants to be able to at least match the ability of the person that might be trying to threaten his life. And the fact that he wants guns to be available for it is just because other people are going to have guns, or worse, to possibly, hopefully, not threaten his life. It's about having the ability to defend yourself rather than you know,
But
with the
having a
current
gun
like,
isn't the whole picture. Like if you could have a gun with no
of
training,
course, it's not
and
the
still
whole
be
picture.
and still
It's,
be
of course,
complete
it's not the whole
trash.
picture.
You know,
I don't think
like
anyone
it's
would ever say it's the whole picture. I think anyone who knows anything about guns wouldn't say it's the whole picture. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could, there's plenty of unfortunate videos where people that are holding guns get shot while holding guns, of course, because they were just in an unfortunate situation and just didn't pan out in the luck of the draw. What I was kind of trying to come towards is to understand, like, if he basically just likes guns, if he just wants guns because he thinks they're cool tools, he likes using them for target shooting, or if he actually sees it as a utility to defend himself, or if he sees it as
I actually hunt with
me
a
too.
bow and arrow more than my gun.
No, I
I
use a
don't
gun.
even.
Nice.
I try to be as natural as possible. Gun is for protection. And for hunting, literally. That's it. I served in the military. I was trained how to use weapons. It doesn't mean I want to have them in society openly, but I'm almost like, well, unless you can actually melt them all down in the whole world, then don't talk to me, because I know that there's
And
crazies outside.
I wanted to.
You hunt with a bow and arrow for everything, or just
okay.
or just
All right.
deer?
So, hon. Frank, are you done?
I just want to go ahead and finish one thing, just to see,
All land-based,
as like
wings,
mentioned
hunting,
while I
shotgun.
asked that. Why I asked that. The reason why I asked that is because I kind of wanted to come to the the end result that, like, I really think Redneq is maybe more a little, like, from my perspective at least, is a little more libertarian than just specifically conservative. He wants to have, like, basically the ability to be free. And I think we can all kind of vibe with that. Maybe we don't all see eye to eye in how we arrive at that goal, but yeah, again, we're gonna do the centrist common ground shit. Fuck you.
No, Frank, I appreciate that. That's what I identify as. I identify as a libertarian that just wants everybody to have their freedoms and not have anybody offend them. Abridge
Yeah,
their
but you
freedoms.
came in like a Republican.
Okay, yeah,
with
sure.
the Republican
We
takes.
already got it. We got it.
You motherfuckers
Our friend Empress, hold on, stop. Our friend Empress is about to leave. It's a shame because I wanted you to be a part of the next discussion. But if you gotta go, you gotta go. I understand.
Oh darn. Yeah, no, I gotta get some rest. I've got a lot of studying to do this weekend. But
Okay.
it's been a pleasure always, Prime.
Yeah.
Great seeing you.
Empress,
We love you,
Empress.
Empress.
Yeah,
I will private message and chat with you about that Wisconsin thing and give you the links I have.
Let's do it. Let's make it a date. But you can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Professor, but instead of an E, there's a WA. No, I'm not an actual professor, but I am a political scientist.
Link is in
come
chat.
check me out over there. Politics.gg, the worst Discord server in existence, apparently. I'll see y'all soon.
Exclamation point do be
well,
to get that link.
Good
But
night.
anyway.
I'll go there and let
So
you know you're on the
okay,
list.
so I kind of want to move on from this redneck top conversation. Sorry, like we'll be here forever. I know. I have experience on this. So Redneck's smiling because he knows he's been here a while. So if that's what you want to talk about, don't even bother raise your hand because I don't care. We're moving past this. But I want to move on to Nacho.
Good.
He has
this
some.
one's gonna be spicy.
Yeah, some interesting takes here.
It was an interesting thing you said.
Yeah, I would love to engage with you on this.
I did say a thing.
So you believe that Trump was not a conservative. In fact, he was a Democrat, and that Trump or Obama might have been more.
Yes,
Trump might have been more liberal than Obama, or something like that.
Yes, by policy, Obama was more conservative than Trump.
Okay.
And that this is from even like left leaning. I think it was like HuffPost that posted that, or the Washington Post that posted that, and some other left media outlets that were posting that. And this was like in 2016, 15, something like that.
Before Trump actually
Trump was,
initiated any of his policy positions, like
Yeah, could you
Before
name
Trump
some of
was
those policy
elected?
positions?
How could that be?
They were just calling Obama a conservative president.
oh, because he was extremely conservative, but that doesn't mean that Trump would be more liberal than him.
By policy, I think.
Name a policy.
You're talking about an article that was from before Trump got elected. How does that compare with Trump?
No, I'm saying that there was outlets calling him that, saying that he was conservative before then, but then there was this was also after as well. There was, I think, the Washington
But
Post
we're
article.
explicitly talking about the comparison between Trump and Obama, which is what you brought up.
I just said there was another one in 2019 as well.
Okay, name some comparative policies comparatively that from Trump and Obama that you think are more conservative.
I mean, I guess I would have to go dig into all these articles. This was something that I was planning on debating tonight.
Could you name one?
Well, you brought up the topic, so you should have been
Well, I
prepared.
brought that up with like 20 other things because we were all over the place and I had to go behind everyone. So
Well, I brought it up
Make a
again,
point
and
there.
I kind of laid out my case. I assumed you were going to have something, and so this is disappointing for me.
To add that.
I thought you were going to mention like the drone strikes or something.
Yeah, something.
For sure.
I'd like to add that at the end of your administration's term, trying to get gay adoption rights restricted is not a very liberal thing to do. So I just wanted to add that there.
Okay.
Yeah, opposing transgenders in the military.
In the
also not very
military, yeah.
liberal. Increasing drone strikes by 300%, not a liberal thing as well. I mean, like,
For like a
Didn't
healthcare
he
protection.
ban like Muslims from entering the country too?
Literally declaring a rhetorical war on liberals, as he would say, is pretty like not democratic of him. I would
In the
say.
media.
It wasn't a Muslim ban, all right. He just happened to cut off,
the Muslim
like
countries.
from
And he happened to call it a Muslim.
countries. It wasn't a Muslim ban. Yeah, that's-
I think we can move on from this because I think
Yeah,
everyone-
I actually kind of
Yeah.
wanted to push back against I think what lawyer said, saying Obama was conservative. I mean, if you're looking at a global scale, maybe, but by this country's like standards, I don't think it was a conservative.
Oh, yeah. So I was talking more about like international politics, but I
okay,
agree
okay,
with you. In America, he's 100%. He's like on the cutting edge of liberal thought in America. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, his
Okay,
foreign
then,
policy
yeah.
is amazing. Like, to make him a left winger, but he was decently socially progressive at least. So I wouldn't call him like a.
But yeah, but he pushed a lot of neoliberal policies that improve.
Well,
Yeah,
was
like,
he? Was Obama decently socially progressive?
To an extent, more so than I would say Trump is.
Yeah.
During his administration, gay marriage was eventually legalized.
Yeah, I'd say with his laws, I'd say he's one of the most socially progressive presidents we've had in the modern era. Maybe you can say that's because like he had to switch up. Maybe that's not like his real views, but as far as like his policy wise.
So I just want to thank Eris for being so kind as to rate us. Thank you, Eris. Everyone, go sign up to Eris. Go to click on Eris's a link right there. A link is in chat, and go follow her. She's a wonderful human being. We love her so much. Doobie has subscribed to Prime Gaming. Oh, that's awfully nice of them too. So yeah, go support Eris at her Twitch channel. Eris on Discord. Currently, she's going to change that. And then also, !Eris in chat to find her Calliopean Club, which is her Discord server. And for Doobie for being so kind as to resub. Once again, I'll put Doobie's link in chat for the Politics Discord server, discord.gg/politics. Those links are in the chat. Go check them out. But beware. Okay.
Marks, can I ask you a question real quick?
Me?
Sure.
No, Marks. I just want to ask a clarifying question. When you say modern presidents, where does that kind of end? Like Reagan era?
Modern. I'd say Reagan after the Soviet Union fell. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That because I was thinking like modern goes back to F. Kennedy. If you're talking like back to F. Kennedy, I would say that John F. Kennedy and probably Johnson are probably more progressive, but semantics, whatever.
Okay. So, all right. Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I'm also quite a bit disappointed. You didn't have anything for me, Nacho. There. I was actually really ready to fight you.
Yeah, it's a big nothing burger.
Yeah, you kind of broke my heart there. I really.
I did a video and talked about this like 4 months ago. So I mean, I can dig everything back up and we could do it again. But
yeah, I would love to honestly have a fight about that because no, he's. I mean, he's not. I mean, Trump was well, I will say this: Trump didn't have a set ideology. I don't think. I think that the last person in the room who talked to him while he was in the White House, basically picked which direction the country was going to go in. I think Trump was ruled by his emotions, and those emotions tend to take him to an authoritarian direction.
Can I ask a question? Or it may be like
I'd agree he's not conservative, but he's not liberal either. He's a business guy that managed to get to be president.
Go ahead, Marks.
Well, that's not the issue, though.
Yeah, just for a topic, it could be like a hit or miss. Do you guys think that there's any value in a president trying to balance the budget? Do you think it's a good thing, a bad thing, a niche thing? What do you think?
A lot of awkward silences. Hey, yo, I got to take off. I wanted to say one thing to Redneq. I feel like, to be fair, he made a point like, or someone else said he came in here saying all these unsubstantiated claims. He did, but he gets in way more trouble for it than any of us do. And I think I thought you were entertaining at the very least. We probably disagree on some things, but you're cool. But anyway, thanks for having me, guys. I like this show. I got to take off, though.
Okay,
Have a
thank
good
you.
day.
But all right, so then we're gonna because a balanced budget. That's I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to keep an audience that way. I'm sorry. But I think I stumbled upon something else. Like so, talking about platforming, right? People will come in here. They like to yell about like, oh, hey, we don't have enough conservatives here, right? I'll tell you why we don't have enough conservatives. This is my opinion why we don't have enough conservatives here. We used to have more, but then
they get banned.
No, they don't. No, they don't get banned. In fact, I tell my mods to
Yes,
let.
we do.
I'm not saying it's
hold on. Assholes get banned. If conservatives are all those racist trolls, then yes, then that's why we don't have any conservatives. And that's what we're going to talk about, then yes, that's 100%. If they're the racist trolls, the transphobic trolls, the misogynist trolls, then and they're getting banned, then yeah, that's why we don't have any conservatives. But I'm guessing I'm trying to hold on. I'm trying to say that I don't think conservatives are just that. I think the conservatives have lots of opinions. In fact, there are a few conservatives like Redneq, who's here right now. Who I believe have other opinions and aren't all those evil things, right? So that's what I believe. So people ask me, why don't you have enough conservatives on your panel? We used to have them, right? They'll come and they'll trickle in, but what will happen is that like they'll get confronted, and we will take their points and we'll demolish them, and then they get butthurt. That's what happens. It's what happens. They get butthurt, they go cry, like whine on Twitter, right? Oh, Prime was mean to me. Oh, God. And it's like, you conservatives don't have a chance on this panel. Whatever. I don't give a shit. All right. Cry. Yeah, like I see them in tears. I see these big, tough conservatives in fucking tears all the time.
Tough conservatives. Come on. They're all pussies. That's why we lost. Fuck them.
Can we have a do you all think that we can have an open, honest like debates with like hard leftists especially and conservatives? Is that a possibility? Can we actually intermingle for long periods of time without people getting their feelings hurt and the debate falling apart? Or is it that that maybe some people actually do need a safe space? It might not be the people on the left. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Danagram, we'll start with you.
In a world where we can't get Vivian and Vosh to get along, the answer to your question is no.
Okay. Anyone else? Now's the time. Go ahead. Go ahead. Where Rebels are, and then Swamp Fox, and Sultar.
So actually, platforming is what I wanted to join for in the first place. And quick comment on the balanced budget, Marks. Probably asked it for my account. No, it's not the president's job to balance the budget. That's not at all his realm or his role. But anyway, so to the spot on platforming for positive interactions, really, it's the level set or the tone of the group. And I think that, especially for social media era and what you're doing on your platform, Prime, it's important that you have like these roles and expectations for what it is you want to be broadcast. And by definition of that, if you have to define who and where you're at, then you're going to be exclusionary to some people. It's just natural. Yeah, sure. In a perfect world, we'd have a place where people can rationally interact, but just by again the merit of having to have a platform that is a platform, no, you're not going to be able to sustain that level of interaction for an extended period of time. I'm sorry.
Okay. Swamp.
Hey, is my mic still all clickety clacky and shitty still?
A little bit, but it's fine. We can understand you.
I got rid of.
Just
okay,
keep
so
going.
I know the common ground, whatever arguments cringe, but I hope that we can talk to each other, because the only thing that happens when we don't is shit like January 6th. You know, people get angry, they don't get confronted on their beliefs that may or may not be wrong. Same thing on the other side, you know. Like, if your argument is strong on merit and people trust you, you know, because you talk to them and you don't just dunk on them every time they talk, you're gonna be able to change minds. I mean, literally, that's like the whole thing. Like, I know it's not working very well in Iraq and Afghanistan, but the hearts and minds thing is why, like, is the only way we would ever win that war. But there's, like, from top down, it's not working out because people don't give a fuck. But other than that, I appreciate Redneq being here, even though I paid $50 to try to get him banned. We did a rain check and I banned somebody else instead. But also,
I'll fucking own you if you want to play Big Bang
yeah.
Little Bang.
hey, also, I don't think so. But also,
Weren't
Prime
you
Case.
the one saying earlier that we need to have these people here so we can dismantle their ideas?
Yeah, exactly.
That was me.
Okay, but then you also want to pay $50.
Yeah, well, I'm also super edgy and a troll. So
No,
but
that
listen,
that was me that made the point about making sure people are here so we can dismantle their ideas. He's the one that paid to have the person kicked off. That wasn't me.
Yeah, sure. So, anyways, Prime K's, I just want you to know I appreciate you for letting, like, people that don't all think the same come on your panel. I know that you try, and that's a good thing. Because, I mean, literally, like, I was like, hey, Prime, ban them, and Prime was like, no, we need to have different ideas on the stream. So, like I said, Prime's the GOAT, and y'all better recognize. I'm done.
Okay. I will go to Swamp, Soltar, then Sam. Then Frank. And Bird. Okay. Yeah. What did I say? Soltar's next. Yep.
Right now, like now.
Now.
Okay. So, can we have political discourse between the far left and the far right? I don't think so. And that's simply just based on the idea that when you get radicals that are both on the far sides from each end, they can't bring themselves inward at all in order to come up with proper political discourse between the two. Now, can you get someone far left and centrist, far right and centrist? Probably, because they will find common ground at some point if they are willing to do discourse. But as we've seen right now over the last 4 or 5 years, our political divide in the United States has been growing exponentially to the point, like in high population density centers, like to be a conservative versus a liberal, you're more likely to get stabbed having a political discourse between the two than you are if you were in, say, like a rural area. Like around here in the rural areas where I live, like we're more likely just to call one a bitch and the other a jerk, and then we all call each other snowflakes, and then that's the end of the day. But like in the big cities and big metropolitan areas, that's where political discourse is almost impossible at this point, and graphs show that because the political divide is just too wide because we've stopped trying to find common ground, and we've just sat here and blamed each other for all of our problems.
Okay. Next person. Sam.
Yeah. So like this discourse that we can have between these groups, I don't know how willing far right and far left individuals are going to be to sit down and try to make a community. But again, I've talked about this before on the panel. I believe that the spreading of these ideas come from community. You need to build a community that may not even be centered around politics in order to build these relationships up. People will derive a lot of their sense of political sense from their community. This is why like white nationalists do so well, is because they build a really good, big sense of community, and people connect with that very strongly. And so if we want to have these like long-term conversations about moving people either way, you need to be having a sense of community with those people that you're talking to.
All right. Sorry. Frank. Sorry.
Yeah, so my quick thoughts about it are, I think like we probably have all seen that if people are on either side of the dichotomy between left and right or whatever, we've all seen before that it's gonna be pretty much impossible for them to see anything eye to eye. I think it is probably better for attempts to at least be made, at least depending on the goal or the context of the conversation. Like if the goal of the conversation is like, a hardcore debate where you are trying to sway someone's position, then you might as well throw it out the window. Like you're pretty much just trying to signal to the other side that like, hey, if you think anything I said was good during this, come over to my side, if they're content creators specifically, just speaking in terms of like, it being something online. But I think if you can maybe get people that are like kind of within a certain range of whatever spectrum, as much as you might be able to like kind of quantify that, I think you can have generally some interesting things. Like even just for people that are not part of those groups that are talking right there, it'll at least provide an external like perspective as to how these people think, and it might even help you argue for your positions better, which I think is something that we've talked about here even tonight like quite a bit. So yeah, again, like to me, it's either going to function as like, you'll get a window into what the other side was and be able to like, self-reflect and harden your positions, or maybe change your positions even, depending. You might find something else. You might find out something about yourself that, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, generally I feel like it would be nice, but not really likely.
And just real quick, Swamp and Sam, do me a favor. Where your microphone connection is, I want you to pull it out, tap it against something metal, and then like moistily breathe on it before you put it back into the connection. It just
before you.
The problem I have is with the Windows driver, so it's not.
Okay. I just
Well, your stuff
wanted to
sounds
give that
better now
piece of
anyway.
I
advice
know what my
that's-
problem is. My problem is the Windows Audio DG files fucking sucks
and,
dick.
and,
On
and for you, Swamp, try
Uninstalling
both
Windows
connectors.
System 32.
Like try both connectors. Like because take this from a radio DJ with 15 years experience. It works.
Yeah, my problem is I'm running on a CPU only with no graphics card, and
Surprisingly, after mentioning that, both of your guys' issues disappeared.
Yeah, wow. I just had to bring it
Good
up.
take, Soltor.
Yeah, no, that
Okay.
one didn't work.
So we'll go to Bird, then Danagram.
Oh, I'm up. Okay. Shit. I don't even know what I was gonna say. Can you come back?
Okay. Dan.
Yeah, if the conversation goes anywhere after this, I would love to know what Redneq has against the Civil Rights Act. Because he brought that up earlier, and I'm surprised nobody pushed back on that as like a main point of contention, because that's probably one of the easiest things to argue against.
Okay. Would love to. Methody.
Yeah. So I'd like to say that I think that the left and right can definitely find unity to some extent. And that's mainly with things that are empirically verifiable and things that we can determine to be absolutely true and things that benefit the majority of humanity. There shouldn't be any compromise on empirical topics, because the only way that you're not like taking the right position there is because you're driven by ideology. Like if we know that something like Medicare for all is going to save us money and give more coverage to people in the United States, the only reason you're disagreeing with that is because of ideology. It's not on empirics. And for something like that, I don't think a compromise should be made because there is one right answer. And for giving trans people rights and affirming their validity, I don't think a compromise should be made on that either, because we know that one result is going to contribute to more happiness in the world. So
Bird, you're gonna say something again? And then we'll go to Red.
To respond to that, but there are specific elements on both the left and right, more so the right than the left, that lie about this on purpose, and that's why we can't have this unity between these two groups.
I'm not saying both are like 100%.
Look, guys, I've heard this word empirical. I don't know how many fucking times tonight. And actually, Salter even says, "I challenge you, Redneq. Just do this for me." And so here's my give to you right now. Do any of you know what empirical actually means? Because everything that you're saying is not what empirical actually means. It is exactly what I was saying, but that's not empirical. The definition of empirical means based on, concerned with, or verifiable by observation or experience rather than theory or fucking logic. So all of this work,
we can go down this.
We need empirical.
We can go down this.
Empirical evidence.
We can
probably find
things that
let him go.
Empirical evidence.
Go ahead. Continue.
You keep saying you need empirical evidence, but I'm telling you, I'm the oldest motherfucker on Twitch that's willing to sit here and talk this shit with you guys. Yes, I acknowledge that I'm fucking old and I do a lot of clowning around, make some jokes about shit because that's what I was introduced to. You can thank Prime Case for half this bullshit you see today. He helped build this bullshit. You love y'all love feeding off the story time. You love feeding off he came in boisterous and hot. I'm giving you honest takes. And for you guys to say you'd rather think, you literally said, we would rather hear empirical evidence than anecdote Andy. Yet that's exactly what empirical means. It is learned from observing and actually seeing and doing and being a part of, not theory or logic that you prophesize or think about like, oh, let's sit around all day and think about this fucking problem. I mean, you guys want it both ways and you don't even see it. And so when I give you the performance, know that it's a mirror. You call all this bullshit, I'm going to give it all back to you. And you guys need to pay attention to what you mean by empirical, because empirical is actually emotional. It's observance, it's experience, and everybody, even you, make your choices in life off of what you feel, and you feel off of what you've learned. Learning makes you feel a certain way. That's it. Y'all need to be just move your heads out of your ass for a minute.
Let's go to Bird and then Dan.
So I agree that we can't be all like perfect logic monsters, right? That our feelings are going to like interact with how we see the world and how we perceive the world. But I think when Mifindi, I don't know if I'm saying that right, was talking about like empirical facts, we can look at things like climate change, things like Medicare for all, things like trans and gay rights. These things are empirically better for the world if they were enacted or if steps were taken to counteract them. And in the case of climate change. So okay, do you deny okay, this is where I was going with this. Do you deny climate change? Because you're fighting against empirical evidence at that point.
No, you actually, so empirical evidence, right? You're taking a snapshot of how many years? How old's the Earth? How far are we able to go back with our science and our technology?
This is what I'm talking
Here's
about.
what I'm talking
You're
about.
using points.
Hang on.
You're using
Hang on.
wait.
Let Bird respond. Hold on. Bird, please.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. You're using points like from oil billionaires that was given to you through like fucking PragerU and shit like that.
Okay,
and
you're
beamed into
ready?
your fucking skull.
I'm going to ask you a question to solidify your just fucking based question here. Climate change. Do I agree with it? It's empirical evidence. And I literally asked you, how old is the Earth and how old is the science, or how far is our science able to take us back? You just jumped.
Again, this is.
Hang on. I asked a fucking question that you don't even want to answer. I just asked a question.
You haven't
answered
any of my question.
Dude, I'll
This
fucking
is what
answer
I'm
the question.
talking about. This is what I'm talking about. These rhetoric and points that you're bringing up are like points taken from PragerU videos. I know this because I've watched those PragerU videos. It's the same
Here's my question.
point.
Here's my question. If 97% of the scientists say that climate change is happening and 3% say it's not, do you agree with those stats? Does that sound about right?
That's a fucking lie. What you just said is a lie.
I'm asking you if there's not. What is the fucking percentage of scientists that don't believe climate change is happening?
Science is based on consensus.
First of all, 100% of scientists think that climate
No,
science that way.
not true.
That's funny.
Yes.
Real funny. Real funny.
So let me finish.
Let him finish. Shut
I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, shut up.
So
you don't.
So the 3%.
Shut the fuck up. Bird, go ahead.
The 3% that he is talking about is people that don't believe in anthropogenic or don't say in their studies that humans are the main cause of it. 100% of climate scientists realize that the climate is changing and that something needs to be done about it, right? They differ. Those 97% say it's anthropogenic. Those 3% say it's not. That's the only difference.
Okay, potatoes. You just finally agreed that what I was right. So, Bird, here's the question: if you had cancer, and 97 doctors told you you're gonna fucking die tomorrow, but 3 told you that you had a chance to live past tomorrow, who are you gonna go see?
97 doctors.
One of the 97%. You fucking idiot.
Wait. Do you not like understand academic or scientific consensus?
Like, do you think that these 3%
Did I just
of
ask a
people are
question?
going to
Did I
have more
just
merit
ask a
than
fucking
97%?
question that nobody
You
wants
asked
to
a
answer?
really
And
dumb
I
question.
wasn't even. I
You
didn't
said it
even want to
wrong.
go down this entire path with you because I knew this was. You're just gonna bring up bullshit that's not even correct. I'm trying to go down you with the rhetoric path of
You could go down on me if you want, but I mean, I'm not into it.
All right, dude. You just
not
give me your
into it.
All
I'm
right,
number.
let's go to
Alright.
Dan. Let's go to Dan, and let's go to Swamp. All right.
Can I go after
Yeah,
Trump?
so Redneq, real quick, I want a response after this. Can you define quickly your definition of empirical really fast?
God damn it.
I actually shared it in chat, and it's directly from Oxford.
Just
which
read it,
is
please, just real
an
fast.
old. It says based on, comma, concerned with, comma, or verifiable by observation or experience rather than theory or pure logic.
Right. So
Okay,
observational
you're hold on. So he's equating empirical to almost like anecdotal, and his definition is not wrong. This is actually the definition, but what then different? What? Okay, what's your contention with that statement?
No, I'm amazed that people think that I actually will go
Okay,
and do
so-
the research
so-
like Sulzer asked
Right.
for, and I give it to y'all, and then you still fucking debate
So
it, saying I'm fucking
no.
lunatic
So
about it.
listen. So
You're
no.
fucking
You
certified.
didn't even listen to my point. You did not even listen to my point. So how about you shut up for a fucking second and listen to me? Listen, you just defined it. You defined it, right? I was trying to be generous to you and let you define your own fucking position real quick. That way chat could fucking hear it. I already knew what it was. I already had it pulled up, okay? You're right about the definition of it. So fucking listen for a second, okay? So basically what you're saying is you're basically boiling it down to anecdotal evidence, right? So what then differentiates whether or not you should be right, versus the left, right? So what makes you right if it's all anecdotal versus the left or versus anybody you disagree with? Right? Consensus matters. And you're ignoring you're ignoring hold on. I'm not fucking done.
Okay,
I'm not
let
fucking done. You're
let finish.
ignoring definition number 2 and definition number 3 of the fucking term. So please respond.
For what? I mean, I told you, when evidence is given, both sides choose how they interpret it to get their facts. Thank you for getting so emotional and walking everybody down through my actual statement that I made to Solder 20 or 30 minutes ago.
You're welcome.
I
I love
just
you, by the
literally
way.
carried your
great.
carried your dumb ass all the way through it, and you made my point for
Well,
me. Thank you.
You and me probably agree on way more than you think, but you actually totally failed on this position completely because you fail to
You acknowledged I
understand
was
the
right.
importance.
You
You
acknowledged I was
failed
right.
to no. All I did was acknowledge that you
What
were
is the
correct in
okay?
your
Hang on. What
definition
relevance does it have?
in the reading
What
of the
relevance does it
definition of
have for how many
empirical.
definitions? Adjective.
Every
Right now, give me
word
an
has
adjective
more
version.
than every word has more than one
Sure.
definition.
Guess
Open
what?
up a
And that's what
dictionary.
debate and
Right,
interpretation and
which is
perception
what we're doing, and so I'm challenging you on the point of consensus. You're talking about antidote, right? So when does consensus matter?
when it matters for the topic that you were fighting for. It's an individual based, and it's based off the context of the
Jesus
argument.
Christ, dude.
If you want
This
to
is
take a
like the
side,
most intellectually dishonest response I've ever heard in my entire life.
is it? See right there, you just
Yes,
you just
it's
shut it down.
completely.
Oh, fuck you! You don't know what you're saying.
You're
You asked
right.
me-
I'm shutting you
answer me
down
like
for being intellectually dishonest. It's shutting down and calling
already
you out
admitted
for
that
being
you were
intellectually
wrong.
dishonest.
You already admitted. Wait, Redneq. You already admitted that you're willing to go to the people that you just feel better about, like the data that you're feeling better about, instead of like
No, I
actually
asked
going
you,
with
no,
consensus.
Bird. I asked you what you would do, so I could get an understanding of where your brain is, because I'm well aware of who I am as a person, and I am well aware of who I am as a person, and I'm well aware of how I perceive information.
So you're gonna go to the 97.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I would
all right.
I would love I
Okay.
would love an answer to my question. When does consensus matter? Okay. And before I finish that, Bird Lawyer, I also typically love your takes, but it was fucking dog shit dishonest of you to say that 3% to say that 100% of scientists agree with climate change, because no, they don't. No, they don't.
Wait, actually, no,
It was.
he is
That was-
right.
that was-
On his
no,
notes-
I am
no,
100%
he's-
right on that.
Wait, no, he's
When-
100% agree on
That is the-
anthropocentric, but
No,
on
you can go down into the fucking statistics and start to pick and choose. But whenever you are talking to somebody like Redneq, to be that intellectually dishonest and to not just engage and fucking concede the point that yes, some scientists
Concede
who
what
may not be
point?
climate
I'm reading
scientists.
the fucking.
Oh,
okay, what is your
Wait,
fucking
no.
problem? What do you want to hear?
Okay. Okay.
What is it? What's your problem?
I want an answer to your question. When does consensus matter? That's what I want.
Okay. Thanks.
Everyone have
their Stop it. Thank you. Thanks. Great. Love it. Don't worry. So the order is Swamp, Marks,
fight everything.
Marks, and Frank.
Hey.
Okay, please.
Hey, Redneq. So I used to be right like a couple of months ago, and I still have a subscription to Daily Wire and those other things. And they like to use when it's Ben Shapiro owning the libs, Charlie Kirk owning the libs. They always like to use the phrase empirical data. Can you look up the definition of empirical data for me, or empirical evidence? I just want you to look it up. Because it has a complete opposite definition of what you just said.
Rebels, I didn't realize that was your hand. So I got you.
No worries.
So empirical evidence is the information received by means of the senses, particularly by observation and documentation of patterns and behavior through experimentation. The term comes from the Greek word for experience. Is that the one that you wanted to hear?
So like science?
No.
So like, no, it doesn't say
Like
that.
statistics and science?
It says-
Experimentation. That's like literally part of the scientific method.
It says observation and documentation of patterns and behavior through experimentation. So that's evidentiary, right? So if I go back to the
Those
other
are
one,
three
and
things
read
you
it as
do
well.
when you try to like prove a theory in
I didn't try.
science.
No, see, again, y'all get so emotional that you didn't even hear the words, and I told you. I am reading a definition that
What I'm
I
saying
am reading.
is like, how many videos
I'm-
you've watched from the right that say, I have the empirical data, I have the empirical data, and they
He's
use it like
literally reading
statistics.
from the dictionary. What else do you want?
Earlier, but I'm saying literally all of that things is like how scientific research is done. Documenting, experimentation. That's how you prove your fucking argument, right?
Stop. You ready? You ready? You literally are disregarding people that don't have college education. You think only scientists can give us data when most of our
What are you
inventions have
talking
actually
about? That's a straw man, and you're just building a straw man now. Like I don't even want to be the guy that attacked you on some bullshit.
Can we just take a second to like?
Hey, it's
yeah,
my
let
turn.
him answer.
I'm reclaiming my time.
You address me, I'm gonna fucking answer it. Empirical evidence and empirical have the same fucking thing. You're defining it now by scientists that have to sit there with a document and a board and do this. But yet the actual definition of the word empirical and empirical evidence includes what?
We're not, empirics have to be verifiable. The things you're saying are not verifiable.
Shut the fuck up. The word observation can happen for a fucking gardener or a ditch digger. It doesn't require a fucking degree or scientific documentation. If they see that the earth soils a certain way, that farmer's going to document it. Is his data empirical? It is to him. You literally lock yourselves up in these fucking analogies that you're like, oh, that's so bad faith.
What analogy? What analogy?
I'm telling you right now.
Okay, all right. Finish your point, and then we got to move on. So finish your point. That's to you. Fuck, Red. Finish your point, and then we're gonna move on down this list. Other people. Sam, I see your
I'm
hand.
going to read it again because they want to say that there's a difference between empirical and empirical evidence. And he asked me to read empirical evidence, and I'm going to read it again. It's the information received by the means of the senses, particularly by observation and documentation of patterns and behavior through experimentation. So the term comes from the Greek word for experience. The term comes from the Greek word of experience. Then you just go back to empirical. You go back to the word empirical based on, concerned with, or verified by observation or experience rather than theory or logic.
For something
Jesus
to be
Christ.
empirical, it has to be verified, and the things you're saying
does not say
are not
verified. It says
verified by people who know what they're talking about.
Hold on, Misfinity. Where are you getting this? Who told you it had to be verifiable? Where do you read it had to be verifiable?
Patterns of behavior through experimentation. That means that it has to be verifiable.
That's no, bro. Did you read the word verifiable?
Wait, do you think that it has to have the word verifiable to get patterns and behavior through experimentation? Do you not get the word verifiable from what I just gave you there?
So through experimentation can be a lot broader than just
patterns
basic scientific experiment. Experimentation could be like, hey, I wanted to date somebody. I wanted to date a girl, but I didn't like the girl, so I dated the guy instead, and now I'm gay. That could be experimentation.
Then that means it is verifiable.
Experimentation. Okay, so Well, so what do you mean by verifiable? What are you trying to insinuate?
It can be corroborated by people who know what they're talking about.
So
No,
look,
bro,
all right, look.
no.
Oh my God. Oh, shut up, everyone. Dictionary.com. Definition number 3.
Yes,
Provable
yes,
or verifiable by experience or experiment. Okay. All right. So verifiable in there. Verified. Infinity. Thank you. Verified. Holy shit.
Okay.
All right. I'm moving the fuck on. Holy shit. All right. Thank you for that, everyone. That was really fun.
By experience. And what is experience? It's anecdotal. It's personal.
Verified. So for instance, okay. Redneq, buddy. Oh God, I've missed you. These talks have been so great. But no. But no, first of all, no, seriously, you've been gone for a while. You were sick previously. I'm glad you and your family are safe. I just want to put that out there. I didn't get to say it before, but I'm glad you and your family are safe. So I'm happy to have you back. But now the magic can begin again. Verified, right? So a person, for instance, can have an experience like a dream, right? And they can be sure that this dream must have something to do with real life, right? Like, yes, that was definitely my fucking grandma contacting me from the afterlife, right? She says like, pull up your pants and clean your room, right? And now I got to do it, right? This was a message from the afterlife, but it was an experience, but it wasn't verified, right? We don't know if that has anything to do with the supposed afterlife. There's a whole bunch of assumptions going into that, right? And we'd have to actually prove all of that, right? That's what Infinity is trying to get to, verified. Yes, people can have experiences. They have plenty of experiences, but we don't verify those experiences, right? If we just take them at their word, right? You say, oh, I've had this experience, right? Then science just is dead. I mean, we can't actually figure out anything. We're not actually verifying these things, right? Then we're off in 10 million directions because everyone has a crackpot theory about how the world works. That's what.
As far as I understand, like the way we verify stuff is by observing a repeated happening or occurring of the phenomena under the circumstances that we believe would cause the phenomena, like that's how it becomes verified. And that's where the data collection method matters or whatever, that's what makes it happen, what makes it real.
Yeah, it's
what
all
makes it
probability
verified.
and statistics. It's all probability and statistics.
Or it could happen amongst a large group, and a large group is privy to the knowledge and can all verify that knowledge. So yeah, it can happen. Oh,
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Sorry, what did you say?
It's like, okay, so for instance, if a music concert goes on, there's a large amount of people there to verify that a concert actually happened, even though the concert only occurred one time. It's verifiable amongst a large group. This is generally when you have scientists will do the same experiment, or they'll do the experiment together in labs together, so they can all verify what's going on.
For the concert analogy, it's not just the concert afterwards. It's like, okay, well, we have people coming from groups, there's additional information that's gathered, it's not just people saying that, yeah, there was a concert that happened here, trust me, it's like,
verified means verified.
Yeah, 50 people said there was a concert here, so there must have been a concert here, right? It's additional information. It's like, well, okay, there was more people there, and this, there seems to be some sort of band there at some point, so maybe there was a concert there, Oh, okay, well, we arrived at this concert, they said there was a concert there, they're carrying out equipment, what's in the equipment?
Okay, we got it.
That's the point I was trying to make, where it says experiments through experimentation.
Sure,
experimentation usually proves whatever your theory is.
We got to move on. We've been on this point. We've been on this point for so long. People have been waiting.
I've experimented cooking briskets until I got it perfect. Now I know how to do it every time.
Marks, Rebels, Clear as Sam. I've been waiting for a very long time. Marks.
Okay, so first off, I want to back up Bird Lawyer. Bird Lawyer is 100% right. Scientists have reached 100% consensus on anthropogenic climate change. I posted a study in chat and in VC. So that's there, right? That. As far as Redneq goes, I have two questions that I want you to answer directly and try not to obfuscate with another point. One, do you believe that climate change is happening, Redneq?
Yeah, I believe climate changing.
Okay. Do you believe that humans have a significant effect on climate change, and they can
that's the when you emphasize significant. No, I don't know that, because I don't have enough data in my mind to say whether we are of cause or of great concern.
If I could send you studies to show that we absolutely have significant effect on climate change, would you would you change your mind?
Yeah. So every study that's out there by those 97% that were, all for
100%.
to that level you're talking about, I've read
Mhm.
it, and they literally only talk about going back 400,000 years. Yet they say the Earth is over 4 million or billion years, whatever.
Well, sure,
I'm
but
just saying. Sure, what? I'm just saying.
no,
You asked me. I'm giving you an honest answer. Climate's changing,
no,
and
but
I'm
the
actually
reason,
playing it on the fence.
the reason,
Hang on. I'm
okay,
playing it on the fence because I don't believe the narrative that we are that significant. I just see us as something very minuscule on this earth. I think the earth could shake our asses off like fleas on a dog. I mean, the earth can, if we're fucking it up, it can push us off.
the reason we
How
go back
gravity
to
works.
400,000 years is because we were only around for so long, and going back like millions and billions of years, it's hard for scientists to get an exact gauge on what climate change has had.
Right, because they haven't been able to observe and get that empirical data, right? So I can't accept their
Sure.
current empirical data that only takes a snapshot of a bigger picture because we don't know if this has
Well,
actually happened before.
It's also a
Well,
lot
no,
of
we
like
can't.
that, like they're mimicking the pattern that they see in the weather patterns and basically drawing that backwards on a backwards arrow in time, and so it to some degree it is kind of our best guess as well. So
Well,
I
so-
Well,
I'm
sure.
also
Wait, that
there
is
on the side
that
of
is
caution.
this
Like,
is
wait, that's
this is
okay.
what we're
Mark's
talking
on.
about.
Mark's has been trying to. He's waiting for so long. Let him go.
yes, sorry, go ahead.
Wait, that's basically all scientific evidence. You could even do that for history. We only know like what we know about we only know about the earth about sorry, how do I phrase this? We only know about the earth as far back as we can like have
Okay.
historical documents, and like
Marxist,
how far we can
Marxist, bro.
accurately gauge.
Hold
You
on,
can
I know you'll
disprove
get your
any
take.
theory with
So
that.
listen.
That doesn't. Hold
So
on,
just
that's not
listen.
true.
Let him finish his fucking point. We all listen to you talk.
Yeah,
Let him finish.
Marks, but go ahead. But I disagree with what you're trying to say here. But continue on.
Sure, I'm probably phrasing it wrong, but just to use that to disprove the climate change argument is kind of faulty. Like you're not actually just saying that we don't have like the full scope of a billion years. We're doing it through the same
You
scientific
asked me
method.
you asked me two questions. I answered the first one that I agree that there's climate change happening.
Yeah, I'm trying to push
Then
back.
you went to wait, then you're trying to pigeonhole me to say I agree that we are the sole like the significant we have had a significant impact on that. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I myself have not been convinced because I see the world differently. I believe that if we want to talk about things as citizens of the globe, we need to focus on it. I'm not arguing that. I love having fresh meat from animals, natural, deer, chickens, things of that
Yes,
nature. I don't
yes.
want processed, big farmed fucking feeds. I actually moved myself to northern Wisconsin
Okay,
from
sorry.
Texas
We're
because I was
getting a little
playing the
lost.
fence.
We're getting a little lost here.
Don't try to
Glad
go
that
there
I
with
heard
me.
the
You
word
know that.
globe from Redneq because that
It's a
shows
separate
that
argument because I like game meat
Yeah,
too.
I think we're kind of lost here.
Based.
But I'll just say to Marx, of course we can make judgments about the Earth, even though we don't have documents of aging back for like millions of years. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
I
for
phrased
instance, like
that. Yeah, I
ice-
phrased that wrong.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
Mark,
just
you
all right, fair
posted
enough.
an
But fair enough.
article-
Hold on. Yeah, like ice cores, like we use that to figure out like climate from long ago. Looking at ice, looking at how it smells. Look at carbon, what's frozen in the ice, like from the Arctic and stuff, frozen into the ice to understand like what the temperature was like. Not temperature, but specifically the climate, the atmospheric contents. We can. Like there are other ways of doing this, right? Of understanding
Yeah, I
these
agree with
things.
you.
Okay.
It was just in the moment.
Okay,
They also
fair enough,
have
fair enough,
machines
fair
that
enough.
they're working on that will replace all the fucking glaciers too. Just a heads up, but the government doesn't want to spend money on it.
Okay. So let's.
Those are just holdover. Those aren't going to actually solve the problem, though. I know what you're talking about, like the whole idea that we just make ice and just like attach it to the glaciers. It's not a long-term solution to the problem.
Because of the energy that would take to do that would only exacerbate
behind
climate
the
change.
refrigerator.
It would actually suck.
The freezer it feels hot.
If they could do the Futurama type take, right? Catch a
Yeah,
comet.
just drop the ice cubes.
Drop the
Yep.
ice cube.
Yeah.
That would work. Maybe
Sounds
actually,
good.
maybe. I'm not sure. But
So we just
based.
move the Earth 1 week out, right?
1 week
That's
out.
what their
Go
ultimate
shopping in the
solution was.
galaxy for some big ice cubes and then bring them and drop them in the ocean.
I don't know if we.
I mean,
So I'm sorry.
hang on. Let me just ask a serious question. Who how many of you guys like love looking up at the stars and study asteroids and all that bullshit? Any of y'all?
Well, it
Other
depends
than
on
the
where
city,
you
I
live.
see
If you live
stars.
in the city, you don't get to see.
Yeah,
the
don't get
fucking
to see
stars.
shit.
Sucks to suck,
Right.
I guess.
But so I mean,
But it's
do y'all
fair.
do
In
y'all
Colorado,
do we
you can
have
see everything.
do we have 100%? Do we have 100% view around our surroundings of incoming asteroids at all? Like a full
I
100%.
love where this is going, but
We
keep
do.
going.
Yes. I'm
We
intrigued.
don't, do we?
We don't.
We do
We
have
don't, do
that.
we?
We don't.
No, we don't have 100%.
Whatever. I hope Asteroid hits
So
us like Armageddon.
we've actually had many cases where we know, I mean, we have empirical evidence that asteroids have hit this Earth many times, and they say we're due. We're also been hearing we're due for an earthquake at any fucking time in California. It's going to split off the fucking Earth. We
Yellowstone
also
gonna
know
blow
that
up.
there's empirical evidence. The Yellowstone, exactly. Yellowstone's going to pop.
Tomorrow.
We know that there's these things called tectonic plates that are continually shifting, and if they decide to fucking flip tomorrow, we're really fucked. So when I tell you, when you think I say, do I believe in climate change? Yeah, climate's changing. I fucking get it. When I was a kid, they said we were going to freeze to death. I'm old enough to have that history. They thought we were going into an ice age, and now they're telling us no, we're going into a hot phase. And so, sure, I'm sitting here going, I'm experiencing it. So yeah,
you change the definition
Oh my
of
god.
empirical.
Oh my god. Let's move. Let's move on. Let's move on.
but I'm
Let's
not
move on.
gonna
I want to
sit here
move on. I want to
and
move on.
agree
I want to
that-
move on. Sorry. Rebels, did you get a chance to speak? Was it your turn? I don't know.
No, it was, but I'm not sure how valid my point is at this point because it's actually to both sides, both to Redneq and to the respondents. There's two arguments going on right now, and I really do just want to highlight that. Okay, we're talking about thoughts and feeling versus experimentation and documentation and replication. There's a difference between observed experiential evidence from an individual and framing it from your perspective of it doesn't even have to be faith, just your emotional standpoint versus the logical standpoint of, hey, I did X and X is replicatable 99.9% of the time. There's two different schools of thought there, and you're each trying to convince the other that your side is wrong because of that middle ground that does exist in science. Okay, there are and have been studies on both sides because I studied the same things in terms of global freezing and then transitioning to global warming and then just removing the term altogether and identifying it as climate change. The reality is climate change exists. The reality is humans have an impact. The question is, how much impact do we have versus our environmental conditions, right? So it's not about being right on empirical and saying that's not the correct argument to have here. The question is, once we're aware of something, should we be addressing it? And I think that would be a far more productive conversation than trying to find words.
This is the conversation.
Well, no,
this
that,
is the
it's
conversation.
That's where I'm at.
But this is the conversation that I've been having for the last 20 years, and I'm sure many other left-leaning people have been having for the last 20 years. It's every incremental point. It's climate change isn't real. Okay, it's real, but it's not man-made. Okay, it's man-made, but how much effect do we really have on it? I don't want to give little ground up every single time. I want to just get to the solution where we can actually start doing things about it.
Yeah, I was gonna-
This is
yeah.
a bad.
there's
This is a
actual-
bad
do
conversation.
you
to
understand
have.
that there's-
Sorry, hold on.
But
hold on,
Rose,
hold on,
you
one
do
second.
understand
I
that
just
the
want-
Earth itself.
Don't
Hang
worry,
on,
don't worry,
hang on.
don't-
You said it's strictly man-made, but I just want to be clear.
Okay.
Mount St. Helens in the 80s, right? I mean, the amount of gases and things
Not
that
what
the
I
Earth
said.
does itself. So when I'm not, Bert, listen, I'm trying to actually agree with you on a point here. Don't just sit here and say it's all man-made. Conservatives like me who enjoy having nature
Everybody's
want
saying
the Earth as clean as possible.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Understand
so
that.
we're moving. No. We got a lot of other people online, but you're online. No problem. We got to move on. Holy crap. Oh my God, this is killing me. So Clara, Sam, Soltar, and then our good friend Kobe.
Yeah. So, real quick, I don't want to keep harping on this, beating a dead horse about the empirical data thing. Empirical means data gets recorded, analyzed. Doesn't mean an anecdotal singular experience that never gets questioned or changed. Don't get upset when people challenge your weak evidence or lack of evidence. Don't be a fucking snowflake. All right. I also don't necessarily need hard evidence when it comes to asking you to substantiate any number of non sequiturs that you make when you first come in here. I'm just asking for some kind of specific examples that you could specifically cite. So I don't need scientific evidence for every single thing that you were talking about. I asked for just little examples. It doesn't need to be scientific studies or anything like that. So don't get your panties in a wad about that either. So also, when you talk about asteroids hitting the Earth or the giant earthquake happening, you're talking about geological timescales and fucking cosmic timescales. Talking about things that happen over the course of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years. You're not talking about something that's going to happen tomorrow. Just because we're overdue for something on the average doesn't mean that it's not going to happen or not happen in your lifetime. So it's something that could happen, but the point is that it's something that could be far away. And also, if you want to talk about climate change, you really only have to go back a couple hundred years to see the very significant uptick that happened as soon as the Industrial Revolution happened, and it's very easily measurable. If you don't care to look at the evidence or care to acknowledge the evidence, that's up to you. But again, this is you being a snowflake and not really wanting to face reality. So that's my point.
Maybe Kaczynski had a point.
Address me directly, Prime.
Yeah, please. You can respond, and then
address me directly.
Yes. Then it'll be Sam, Solter,
real
Kobe.
simple,
Go ahead,
real
please.
quick. It's real quick. Let's use your cosmic timeline. I'm only asking for y'all to give me that for empirical data for this weather, climate change being us, because our cosmic timeline is a lot fucking longer than what they tell us we've been around. Thank you.
Okay.
You see what you did there, clearly?
I didn't even know what you're talking about. What
you've
did
done?
I do? I think I broke his brain is what I did.
Okay, Sam, Soltar, Kobe.
I don't want to harp on this for much longer. I'm gonna be heading out, so I don't want to go back on any points. So I just have to say, have a great night, everyone.
Have a good one. Thank you so much. All right.
See you, Sam.
Soltar, then Kobe.
Okay, so something that I've been witnessing throughout all of this too is how we are appealing to each other and our audiences, and so I'm going to bring up the epitome of rhetoric, which is ethos, pathos, and logos. I'm seeing a lot of pathos coming from Redneq. It's through personal experience. It's appealing to emotion. It's trying to appeal to our audience through emotional standards and through his personal experiences, through all of that kind of thing. What a lot of people are trying to come at Redneq with is with logos, which is with facts, reasoning, figures, something that is measurable, something that has measurable evidence that we can present to somebody. And so I think it's worth pointing out this differentiation, because technically we're having two different debates going on right now, because you have one half, and unfortunately, Redneq, you have you in this case. But you have like you're simply stating that if you say something is one way or another because you believe firmly that's the way that it is, that's the way that it is. And everyone is coming at you saying, no, the consensus is this. So statistically, you should be wrong because we have higher statistics on our side than on your side. And that was really the big point that I wanted to get to as far as a rhetoric standpoint.
Hey, I'm with you right there, brother. Okay, I'm with you. And my argument then for you to help bridge that, because I literally, I'm being good faith right now. I'm not joking. For those that don't know, if this is your first time with me, when I smile, I'm trolling. I'm just making jokes. I can't hold a smile when I'm actually trolling. So the point I made, and I've always tried to make to the younger generations and people, is that everyone, even you yourself, make decisions based off what you read, what you comprehend, what you see, what you observe, what you've experienced. Observation, experience is the exact same as theory and logic that is applied in scientific study. It's something that you repeat and over to make better. Farmers, ditch diggers, burger flippers, people have those experiences. You can't discount just because they don't have a college degree that goes with it, that they don't actually have an opinion based off of what they've seen or learned. And that's all I'm asking for, is for you guys to comprehend and actually accept that, because you're not. You're saying that doesn't happen.
We're not saying that those experiences are invalid. We're just saying that we want
Yes,
to
you are.
to go based off
It's almost like the fucking farmers wrote down what makes crops grow. Added water today. Crops grew larger.
You know, there's a farmer's almanac. That's exactly my point, right? They're farmers. Nobody told.
Scientists do the same shit, bro.
Do that.
But
nobody taught them to do that.
matter
Oh my gosh.
when we're having conversations like this are the ones that are repeated and the ones that show
I don't
patterns.
know what's even happening anymore. Holy shit. I don't even know what's happening.
You saying
real quick too, if I could.
like The idea that climate change doesn't exist because there's snow on the ground today is the exact place where this is
I
coming
need
from.
to interject. I need to
Nobody
interject.
said that.
Redneq never once said that climate change doesn't exist.
Yeah, I don't
So
think he
don't
said
take
I'm
that
not saying,
argument.
I'm not
Never
saying
once said
that. I didn't say that he didn't said that. I'm saying this is
You
the same
did, though.
place where this is coming from.
Oh my
Right?
God.
This idea that we need to take like everybody's account and into a big pool and then pull ideas out of that pool. No, we need to look at repeatable evidence that we found over and over and over again to be correct, and that is climate change is happening.
Okay, all right, great. Kobe, please. Oh my God, save us. Because I want to
Okay.
change topics. But not really, because
Let's talk about
melting my
cosmic
brain.
timeline.
Oh.
Let's talk about cosmic timeline, okay?
Yeah.
We like to think that an ice age is when you are in the Ice Age Pixar movie, right? Where there's like saber-toothed tigers and there's snow everywhere. But that's not actually true. All an ice age means is when when our Earth has ice on it 24/7, every single day of the year. And right now we do. We have it in Antarctica and Antarctica and the South Pole, North Pole. I don't know. I can't remember the exact names. Anyways, the fact that we are in an ice age is actually quintessential to human evolution, the evolution of every animal that exists on the planet. Because when there is an ice age, the water levels are lower, right? There is ice, there are less ice cubes there are more ice cubes on the Earth. It's all up in the North Pole. It's not being dispersed throughout the globe. If you look at my handy little chart of the Earth here, okay, as you can see, where is it? This area right here is called the cradle of civilization because this area, Eritrea, Sudan, all those kind of places, that is where human beings first started popping out of, evolving, right? And because the sea levels were lower, we could move out of Africa into the other places where these other types of proto-humans could never do because it was not possible, right? Climate change has historically, through the cosmic timeline of human beings, has been probably the single biggest factor in human evolution and in the development of human societies, right? Now, are we contributing to it? Redneq is asking a fantastic question. And as was brought up, there is a very handy graph that can actually help us answer this question. This is a graph of looking at atmospheric CO2 and the CO2 of carbon emissions. The pink graph is atmospheric carbon CO2. The other graph, the blue graph, is a human output. As you can see, right as we went with the Industrial Revolution, atmospheric CO2 shot up, and how much we were putting out shot up. Now, Redneq brought up an interesting point, massive talents. It is very true that there are exact instances in which the Earth will release more carbon than all of humans' carbon produced, all added up. But that's the thing. The fact that humans are insignificant is the entire problem. The Earth is a very, very fickle system. And for most of human history, we have had almost no impact on the global climate, right? We are a relatively small species, but we have stopped being a relatively small species. We have become the ultra apex predator of every part of this globe. And we have begun to exploit every type of resource we can find. The very small amount of carbon statistically we are putting out is the problem. It is destabilizing things. That is what we mean when we say carbon, or when we say anthropocentric climate change. We're not saying that human beings are going to turn the world into Ice Age 3. We're saying that the human beings are tilting the schema or the scheme of the planet in a direction that is not going to be stable for human life.
Kobe?
Thank you, Kobe.
Yes.
I actually agree with everything you said.
Okay.
And I'm
so why
actually,
do you agree?
because I'm not known for being able to say those. If I would have said exactly that, if I would have said that, I don't believe in racism because we all migrated from the same little pothole in the earth in my stupid form, y'all would have been like, ah. But everything you said gets to the point of the cosmic timeline. I'm saying though, that chart you showed only goes back how many years?
So it goes back. Actually, hold on. I can get it. I think it goes back into the early, 1700s. But the reason it starts there is because before that, there wasn't an industrial revolution. We weren't burning coal at the levels we were doing. That's what we're looking for,
brother.
right?
What I'm saying is, we know that there was. All right, so with the dinosaurs and the Pangea times, in between Pangea to now, how many volcano eruptions have we had? How many?
But the Earth has been set. Both the Earth and the evolution of mammalian species, mammals, has been accustomed to that cycle of we are the Earth is used to this. The Earth is not used to, and human beings are not used to the levels of carbon we're putting out.
Kobe, if I can,
okay, Kobe.
with the funnel analogy. Have you ever heard of the funnel analogy, where like the Earth is a funnel that's able to handle X amount of carbon going out of the bottom of the funnel, and the Earth is constantly pouring this amount of carbon into the funnel. But humans come along and pour more carbon into the funnel, and Earth can't deal with it, and it starts to fill the funnel up slowly, but it will fill up.
Okay, great. So, whew, no more of that. Thanks. Oh my God.
Can we go to the civil rights thing now?
We got the climate change from
Civil
responsible
rights.
platforming. I feel like
Yeah,
we did the
civil rights. Let's do civil
Wikipedia
rights.
challenge.
Yeah.
Let's
we
talk
did
about
it.
why the Civil Rights Act was bad.
Oh, the civil rights thing? You guys want to do the civil rights thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Are you
Redneq,
sure?
aren't you a libertarian? I think I know why.
No, that's me.
Okay.
You kind of remind me of Rush
Redneq said he was a
Limbaugh.
No, he
libertarian.
described himself as one afterwards.
Oh, okay,
Sorry,
my bad.
what was your
I thought he
take on the civil
conservative.
rights thing right now? People
I've
still
always
want
been
to
a
talk to you.
libertarian. You guys labeled me as a conservative far righty. I've
So-
always
Yeah,
said I'm a
same,
li- I
same.
call
To
myself a
my
libertarian.
audience,
no.
I want to make it clear to my audience, right, that the panel asked to continue to go talk with Redneq on these things, right? I didn't engineer this. They specifically asked. Oh yes, we must talk to Redneq about his takes on civil rights. They've
We
asked for
demanded.
this.
Wait, Prime, who are you talking about?
I'm talking to my audience. Talking to my
Who
audience.
sent you these messages that
Don't
You
believe
guys
him,
literally
audience.
just-
Prime
you
sent
guys
me a
are literally-
DM saying that you need to bring the direction of the
I'm just
conversation.
fucking
this way.
with you.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about balanced budget, but y'all thought
No,
it was
thanks.
boring,
No,
bro.
fuck.
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
Oh my
whatever.
God.
I was
about
back
that
in Marks
corny-
on that one.
No, thank you. All right. So, you want to talk
I was just going to death.
the swamp or not
I
swamp?
actually want to tell the rebels.
Redneq.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's your opinion on the Civil Rights Act?
From the 60s
Sure.
and forward, I believe it's just the Democrats trying to find another way to keep slavery existing. And they've done a
Of
good
course
job
you
at it.
do.
Wait,
Of
my
course
story
you
is
do.
voting rights for black people?
Wait, do we
Hold
have
on,
to discuss
hold on,
this?
hold
Wait
on,
a
hold on.
second. Hold on.
Let him go ahead and say what he means by that.
I
I
wanna
want
hear
you to
this.
extrapolate. Yes.
So we know that the Democratic story has been that, yes, we were racist until 1964. And then we did a big switch and everything got better because we passed the greatest civil rights acts of all time. And we did it out of the goodness of our hearts because, you know, we ain't been racist for almost 400 years. We only been racist up until 1964. And then our favorite president from Texas, even my home state, passed these great laws that helped every black woman and child in America, moved them to the big cities and put them in these nice little compartmentalized areas. And boy, howdy, did they improve their lives greatly. They allowed abortion clinics to move in. They broke the nuclear family up. They created
Base.
this drug war.
Fucking base,
They
dude.
then went in and started telling about redlining, and they blamed Republicans because they had 20 of them that switched, and that just made the racism go all the way. So now it's just the Republicans that are racist, and they're the ones holding the man down, and they're the ones that keep white and black and brown and all of us poor Americans that have to work our asses off in these little bitty welfare states where they divvy up and say we're only worth $2,000 a month with your food stamps and your home rent assistance and all this public service that they give us, but then they turn the fuck around and cover their asses and pay themselves $174,000 a year. What more do you want me to tell you? The government, the Democrats themselves created all of this shit that y'all claim doesn't exist, but you've pitched it on the Republicans. I'm blaming them both. They've existed, but the Democrats I hold at the highest fault because in my lifetime, I've seen them do more dirt to my family of color than anybody else. That's where I'm at.
I love transracialism. I love that. You see that?
I don't. Do we have to? Do we have to?
Apparently we
do.
do.
I mean, I actually have blood family of color, if that matters. So
No, it
yeah,
doesn't.
I'm that
It doesn't. It
redneck,
really
racist,
doesn't.
transracial.
No, you're just playing with you. I fully believe you because I have white family members, so and Filipino. So
I got pictures if you need them.
no.
We can take your word
No,
on
we're
that.
we have enough empiricism here. You know.
Okay.
Take your word
What's
for it.
I want to know how much Nacho signs on to all this that you just said.
I have a question, Redneq. Okay. Do you think that between the years 1980, so like let's say Reagan running, and between Trump, what on average, what party do you think an open Nazi would probably vote for out of the two?
Oh no.
What does it
Well,
matter?
the Democrats because
I'm
they're not.
just trying to gauge, okay, at the most extreme, who are the most extreme which side has the most extreme open racists is kind of what I'm trying to gauge.
So here we go. You're drilling it down into racism because that's where everybody loves to come to talk to Redneq about his racism, right?
Well, maybe you did bring racism. We're talking about
I mean, Kobe, I actually believe that they're racist in both parties, and I believe that the narrative of Republicans being more racist is based off of the best sale I've ever seen. Republicans actually don't give a fuck about what color you are. I mean, the ones that are in office that you're
Being
asking about from the
colorblind
80s forward, the Reagan days.
enables
They
racist
don't give a fuck.
institutions to carry out what they do.
Right.
Can you
They
not interrupt
literally
him, please?
don't
sorry.
give a fuck.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree that both parties have a problem with racism, and I think that a lot of the ruling elite of both parties have financial incentive to keep many racist systems alive. But would you agree that there are more people actively talking about the racist problems in America on the Democrats than who's talking about this on the Republicans? I can think of several people just off the top of my head that are national DNC figures that talk about the racial injustice in this country. Who are some people in the Republicans right now?
Okay.
But, hold on, if I may, I see the right talking more about these issues, and this is where like my centrist side comes out. Like I have to say, like I see the Republicans talking about. I watched the DNC and the RNC, the whole however long the speech was, like 3 hours for each one.
Sure,
I don't know.
sure. Okay, yeah.
Biden and Trump. Trump was speaking to, as like he said over and over, American citizens, over and over and over, speaking to the problems of all of Americans, and the Democrats do like to play to that side. So I don't know if that's a fair question to say, like, you know what I'm,
well, I mean,
you know what I'm trying at here?
Kobe,
hold on.
listen, here's my biggest problem. Here's my biggest fucking problem I have with all of y'all, that when we go down this path, it's always, you guys always want to hit me with racism because y'all can't believe my take, and when I say it, if
we need to, I can hit you with. I mean, I think the Republicans are more sexist. I think they're more transphobic. I think they're more xenophobic, more phobic. So we can go with.
They're of course, Republicans are all of that shit, right? They're all that shit to you. To the left, whatever you think of the worst, it is. So I'm gonna give you the example. I literally was asked by Dylan just the other day if he said, if I said I hate black people, is that racist? I said no, I think it's biased. Right? But oh my gosh, how do you not see that? And I said, because I don't focus on skin color the same way you do. Everything in the left.
Would you agree that? Oh, sorry, yeah, I shouldn't remember.
Everything on the left and the Democratic Party is about skin color. It's about all of the things the federal government is not supposed to use, or tells everybody that they can't use. But yet the Democratic Party is built around putting us all in those little sub-compartments. So when I tell you I don't believe in people, I don't see color, I treat everybody equally. You're all a piece of shit until you prove otherwise.
You don't see color, but we live in a society that does. That's the issue, right?
I
want to. Redneq, if just me and you were on a desert island, we wouldn't see color. Just be me and Redneq, we'd hang out, be eating lobsters, we'd be fucking dating, right? But we aren't. We're in America.
Why is it that everything has to have color associated?
Because we live in a racist country. We live in a settler colonial country.
Can I tackle this, Kobe? It's more Kobe. It's more classist than it is racist.
No, these things are very heavily.
I'm poor as fuck. I know the classism, but racism, fucking, it's real. That's a big fucking deal.
So hold on, let's get Marks into this, and then we'll move on. Go ahead.
So if we have to go into this, we're gonna have to unfold this a lot. So, like, Redneq, do you agree? Do you believe that there is systematic racism? I know. Redneq, you're painting. Redneq, you are painting. No. We have to go. If we're going down this, we have to, because we're kind of begging the question if we don't ask it. Redneq.
No, you literally want to throw here. Look, my contentions are: if you think systematic racism is existing, you have to acknowledge it existed all the way till 1964 under the Democratic Party. But you guys don't want to even talk about it. I address it and say if there.
Yes, we do. Yes, we.
Just because I say shit very simple doesn't mean it's simple. It doesn't. I'm just trying to make it simple for everyone that thinks I'm a fucking retard, because I am. And I said it to myself, so ban me. What the fuck? I do have a mental disability. I can check off that box. I'm a disabled veteran. Check off that box.
Thank you for your service.
I have fucking lived as a minority in a community that was poor.
It's fine.
I lived as a minority in a poor community.
Yeah,
check.
You can just not use
I was beat the
slurs.
fuck up for being white. Check. So when you talk about this shit to me and it go to Andy, no, I don't see fucking color. I see it as an attribute. Just like I'm fucking bald and old. You guys are young and studs, whatever. I don't see color right away. And that's the very first thing the left wants to go to. And I am of the mindset that that's the fucking problem. It's a
Redneq,
fucking
Redneq, I
problem.
gotta, and I'm not trying to be mean to you. Like, I love you, Redneq. I don't care. I just want you to answer it straight up, like yes or no. Like, do you
No,
believe?
I
don't
did
need
answer
to.
straight up.
Okay, thank you.
Did say
Systematic
no.
racism.
Okay,
Okay,
alright.
that's all I needed. Yeah.
You don't like
as-
the shit? Fuck off.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I give you the answer.
We're
And
moving
you guys
on.
just don't-
We're
don't
moving
like it.
on. Mark,
Okay, if you wanna move on, yeah, go
did you have something else, Marks?
I'll let other people go. It's
Okay,
gonna take
alright.
like 2 fucking hours. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
I
definitely
think
will.
Samantha hopped in just for this topic.
We'll go. I
I did.
know. We'll go to Frank and then Samantha.
Okay, so my quick question to Redneq is like, you say that Democrats make it all about race and all about skin color, whatever. In your mind, what do you think are the reasons why they do that?
Because they like to keep they like to keep us in these factions. That's how they're able to operate.
So what do you
By
think is
us
the
being
utility?
all- by
So
us being all
I could have said that. Sorry, I'm not interrupting. I just I understand what you mean when you say that. So I'm trying to ask. So what do you think is the reason for them trying to keep us in those kind of factions through those means?
because then they don't have to take accountability for what they've done. By policies, the failed policies. We know that we know in certain communities of color, they have definitely been abused by both sides, whether it's moving them into the inner areas and not giving enough support to the redlining, keeping their tax base low. I mean, we could go on and on and on about all the things that y'all are identifying as systematic. I'm assuming, is that what the reference would be? I'm acknowledging that that shit exists, and I'm saying both parties are to blame. I'm actually a libertarian, and my conservative side is I want less government and I want to be more responsible for myself.
Did
So
you
the
like
analogy I would
Trump,
tell
though?
you,
So just
Say
so I
again?
can understand.
Did you like Trump? Because that doesn't
Yes,
sound like
I
less
did.
government, though.
If you're saying this, you're dishonest.
That's your perception.
That's
Hold
literally
on,
the
come-
oxymoron.
Did you finish your point, Frank?
Well, I just want to ask one more thing. So you think the reason for them, mentioning specifically race and color and other minority demographics or whatever that are popular to defend now, to the general left perspective, you think they mentioned that to cause division and not have us actually address those issues rather than maybe mentioning those demographics that might be more affected by these issues?
So, like we talk about racism right today, and when we talk about it, we only focus on its cities. But some of y'all live in the rural country, right? You're out in the rural sticks. The same financial situations that exist in these highly overpopulated, underserved communities exist in the rural, underpopulated, underserved communities. And it isn't there's no race associated because it affects all races equally. So when I look at that system, that's where I try to say that them keeping us fighting makes them not accountable for that class of people to stay in that class. That's how they're keeping us here, because we're continually fighting, going, oh, it's your fault, like immigrants coming in, right? That's the new narrative of the racism piece. It's like, oh, we don't want immigrants because what? White people hate them. No, it's because they don't want somebody to be most white people that have businesses want to be able to pay them under the table and not get the government. There's like all this shit. It is all a game that all they use. That's what I believe they use,
Could
is
it
to
be
cover that up.
multiple things, though? Could it be multiple things? Because
No,
look,
of course there's intersectionality there. I get you guys. There's a ton of shit that can come in and mix that highway. I got you.
So I'm about to throw this down, but I want to say something to you, Redneq. Your thing about both sides abusing African Americans, right? Like, as you said something about that, like, the Democrats and Republicans. Okay, so I'll give you this. If neglect can be considered abuse, then I would say the Democrats have been abusing Black people. I feel that Democrats do use racism, right? Like on the campaign trail, a lot of big promises are made, right? But then promises are not kept to the African American community. The African community that continuously shows out for the Democratic Party, right? Black women who have I think the highest percentage, right, of voting rate, like for the Democratic Party, like solidly Democratic. But where's the help coming from? I don't see it. I see a lot of promises made and a lot of promises broken from the Democratic Party. That being said, on the other side, Republicans are actively fucking hostile against us. So let's like not forget that. Like actively hostile. And then other one go ahead.
I wasn't. I wasn't.
Okay.
Fair. But Prime, and here's my thing.
I love you, Prime.
I think that is a knee, and I see it too. That is the knee-jerk reaction from most conservatives to go, "Hey, you motherfuckers created this mess, and you want us to take the blame for it." It is literally that pissing match. Like, oh fuck y'all. Neither one of them. They don't.
You just said that earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that's justified. It doesn't mean you go in their defense afterwards.
I'm not. Okay. Whoa, wait. No one
So-
was. Okay.
So sorry,
Again,
what
somebody's
sorry,
hearing
what
something they want-
sorry, who like you're saying who created this problem? Please don't tell me you're gonna say Democrats.
The original question was, what did I feel about the Civil Rights Act?
Okay,
the
so
voters, I'm assuming,
I see what
right?
you're saying. Oh, okay, I
Those
see.
who
I
are
see.
voting for the Democrats
Sure,
into
sure.
power and then complaining after they don't follow through, right?
Okay.
That's what you're saying.
No.
For 60 fucking years, they've had free reign to do as much as they wanted to do, and they claim that they fix society, and they've been pushing more and more.
He didn't say,
All been
no one claimed that they fixed society. No one claimed that. Right?
60
Okay.
years of free reign? No way.
Yeah.
You look at the
all I'm saying is-
extreme that's happening in
That's
like
not
countries
democracy
right now.
works.
You look at
Prime
like,
even said it. Prime even said it. He's like, where's this help at? It's all been talk and no delivery. At
Yeah,
least the
Democrats
Republicans
are
didn't talk.
trash.
They didn't.
I can agree with you on
Go
that,
ahead.
Redneck.
Go ahead.
Democrats are trash.
I think that Republicans are worse.
Yeah.
Republicans don't give a shit about anybody. They just want money. They just want the green. It's all about you making green.
No.
Leave them the fuck alone.
Sorry,
That's it.
Republicans. No, we got to confront this, right? So, Republicans, and then we're going to throw to Sam because I want to hear from Sam, even though I'm afraid of what's going to come out of her mouth. Samantha. So anyway, I think. You're saying the Republicans only care about money. Yeah, well, sure. But also, right, like they care about like perpetuating white patriarchy. Like this is a thing that they do, a project, right? And part of that is by like rolling back the rights of African Americans, especially when it comes to the ballot box. They've been doing this for a very long time. They're continuing to do this, right? Yeah. There's a whole list of ways in which they've been actively hostile to the African American community. Like, let's actually not get it twisted here. The two sides are not the same. The Democrats are guilty of neglect, and that I won't back off of. But it's also the case that Republicans have an agenda that is actively a detriment to the goals of so many African Americans. So leave it at that. But don't worry, Redneck, you'll have more speaking time, of course. So Samantha, please. Don't do what I think you're gonna do, because you know what's gonna happen.
I have a question.
You know,
I have a question.
for fuck's sakes.
I have a question. Does the Republican Party believe in science?
They did.
I think no. I know.
oh,
you know
wait.
I'm
No,
talking
I
to you,
can
Redneck. No.
say
Don't say this.
redneck
This is
already.
Redneck. No.
I
Shut
thought we
up.
already talked about this.
No.
did.
Not this.
Like 20
Redneck.
years ago, they did.
Do conservatives believe in science?
Depends. Like, what are you talking about? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go?
No,
Where do you want to go, Sam?
Do conservatives
is the right
believe in
answer.
science?
I'm not speaking for all conservatives. I try to believe in as much science as I can digest.
All right. Will you be getting the COVID-19 vaccine?
Y'all are toxic. This is why we don't have conservatives. here.
Why?
Why are you an anti-vaxxer, sir?
I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not an anti. Sam, you know the answer to this, but you're trolling. So I'm going to go ahead and give everybody what they want to hear, and I'm going to say it clear as day.
Why are
I'm
you
not
an
an
anti-vaxxer?
anti-vaxxer.
You're an anti-vaxxer.
I
Are you
was-
going to get the vaccine?
Sam, you don't let me answer?
I got my first dose Tuesday. Just
I mean, I'll be that guy. I'm not getting it.
I am a service-connected disabled veteran, and they said I had a stress-induced
too.
heart episode within 24 to 48 hours of receiving all of the vaccinations and the anti-nerve agent before shipping my ass to the first Gulf. So now that I have a choice, I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm not going to be a fucking guinea pig for something that I, myself, have already had personal experience with. I'm not saying that it's okay for nobody else to get it. That's your choice. It is your choice. I have a choice. To me, it is just as serious as you being as transgender. It has nothing to do with anything else other than
No,
how I've
it's
been
not that
and how
serious.
yes,
Trust
it
me.
is.
You
It
know
is
why?
that serious for
You
me.
know why? You know why? Because I'm not a scared little bitch. After being attacked and raped, I'm still gonna drop that needle in my leg, take my hormones. I'm still gonna go on this fight. I'm not gonna
That's
bitch out
fine.
because I had a bad experience in 1991.
No, he's saying he could potentially
I
die.
think,
No, that's
yeah,
bullshit,
again, I think
because I
that's
got forced to take the fucking vaccine at my government job. So like, I'm glad that you get the fucking choice, but I didn't get it.
so. What? Just because you didn't get the choice, he shouldn't either. Like, I think
He's
that's
more
you
of
know.
a he's a coward because he has a choice.
Wait. What?
I don't think anyone can justify. I don't think
No
anyone
one
can
said that.
justifiably
No,
say that.
no one
You
said
know,
that.
he doesn't have
Are
it.
you
for
at,
his
are you at
issues
high
because he wants
risk
to do
when you
it.
take
Vaccines
this
10 years
vaccine?
ago, though. How did you feel
Are
about
you
vaccines when people were like not getting the flu vaccine and shit, and like not getting measles, mumps, and rubella and shit? How did you feel like a few years ago, like maybe 3 years ago, before the COVID vaccine came out?
I've been this way since 1991.
I don't
so wait?
believe
Are
you.
you like at high risk
You know,
when you take vaccines?
I have
Is
I
that
actually have a heart condition that was at 19 years old. You understand that they called it a stress-induced heart, and I'm using air quotes because that's how it was written on my fucking paperwork.
Yeah, and you know that I just spoke to the administrator of my charter school, and he said once he took the vaccine from Moderna, it caused so much inflammation and it affected his nerves that he literally had to lay down for
I
like
got the
6 hours.
Moderna on
So
Tuesday.
Yeah, we
oh,
have people
well,
have react. Hold
Good
on,
luck.
hold on. Okay,
You
they're
people
not.
so there you
So hold on.
so
Like,
that's the point.
hold on, wait,
I
wait,
had
hold
one
on.
too.
Whoa, hold on,
You
hold
want
on,
me
hold
to
on.
tell you about it?
Everyone, hold on. So, we're not going to be spreading misinformation about this, okay? So yes,
I'm
you
not
can't.
spreading
Holy shit!
misinformation.
Am I talking? I'm talking. Please, no more. Thank you. Right. So we're not going to be spreading misinformation. Yes, when you take a vaccine, right? When you take one of those vaccines, you can have a reaction, right? These reactions are not life-threatening. My mother, I just said this the other day. My mother took the second Pfizer
86 people are dead so far.
vaccine. Oh boy.
Like 2 million.
And they have not been. Have they been linked to these vaccines? Have been linked that these are
more
vaccines
than
are the
2
cause of
million?
these? Okay, great. Yes. So my mother, she had a reaction when she had the Pfizer vaccine. It was she had symptoms. It was tough for her. It took the energy right out of her, right? But she's fine now. These things happen. So, but that doesn't mean that there is some sort of that we found some sort of issue with these vaccines, that they are unsafe, right? There is no evidence that these vaccines are unsafe. I won't let that go here on this channel. Okay, get yourself fucking vaccinated. So no. So I'm letting people know. Get yourself vaccinated. All right.
Yeah,
I think vaccinations are great, but look, like this is the only reaction that I had. My arm was sore for like 24 hours. Like I went to the gym or something, right? Other than that, I feel fine. So I don't know. Like don't not get vaccine because of all the misinformation that's on the internet. Do some real research on it, because unless you want to fucking be locked down forever. I mean, the vaccine's a vaccine. I doubt scientists are just going to give you some bullshit. And if you want to have the stupid ass Republican take on, they're putting fucking computer chips in you. You carry a cell phone around every
Nobody was
day that they
talking
can
about that.
record
No one's
and track you.
No one's even mentioned
Okay,
that.
just go ahead and interrupt me. But I'm saying that take is out there. I'm not saying any of you guys are. So stop getting personal about stupid shit. I'm saying there are people out there that think that fucking Bill Gates is chipping them. What I'm saying is you carry a cell phone around all day with your location and every other fucking information on it. So stop being stupid, go get a vaccine, and be safe.
No,
Can
but
I
like
just-
I want to ask Redneq, are you at like high risk when you get these vaccines, or is it just like if your response that you have from this old experience? You're muted, by the way.
When I got COVID in October of last year, it was brought into my home. I had not left my home because I have an issue with masks, so I stayed at home. It was brought into the home, and the people that brought it into the home had masks and did all the protocols as well.
That's
So
not what I'm
I had it. I'm getting to your fucking answer.
Let them tell a story.
I'm a high risk because of the heart condition. The COVID can attack the heart and the muscles around the heart, and especially those that have mitral valve prolapse or other types of symptoms. So without going into my full HIPAA fucking search here and telling you guys my full medical history, yes, I'm a high risk. I was high risk for it. I was advised to have gotten it, but due to my own whether you want to call it being a bitch, Sam, or whether you want to say it's an anxiety disorder or whatever the fuck you want to label it. It's my choice. And my choice is for my safety. I feel it's better and safer for me not to take it, especially considering I've already had it. So that's it.
You know, I'm just gonna
Wait,
call you a
but-
bitch over everything, right? It's
but,
not even about the fact that I think you're a bitch. I just have to call you a bitch, Redneq. You know this by now. You do the same thing with me. It's in jest.
So okay.
Also, I just want to know how you feel about COVID-19. Like, do you think it's real? Do you think a lot of misinformation? Do you think the government
He
overblown
had
it? Like,
COVID-19.
no,
Yeah,
I
I
know.
was
But
gonna
you
Asking
can
if
still,
he
you
thinks
can
it's
still feel it.
real.
I've
Yeah.
talked to
He literally had
people
it.
that had
So
COVID-19
he's
that
better
still
equipped to
was
fucking
like a
say anything than somebody who
Okay.
hasn't had it because they've been through it. Fuck.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
just spoke to his.
I lost
I don't
40 pounds.
understand.
It didn't give me anything other than I did have a few my heart palpitated pretty bad for about 3 days, more than normal. I didn't drink any caffeine, so it could have just been the not having the caffeine rhythm. I didn't have a fever. I just felt pretty like body sore, and I lost smell and taste for over a month. So it helped drop weight. So I was like, cool, help.
Do you think
slim
the
me down.
government, though,
You get the COVID vaccine?
having had those symptoms, do you think the government kind of like blew it out of proportion?
What?
No. Because I know
Jesus
other people
Christ,
that had. I've
Sam.
had people
I
in my
would-
family that had
I'm fu-
I've had people in my family over Christmas. My entire
Sam,
family minus me
stop.
got it.
I
and they
know
said
I have a
they
lot
said
of
it was
people I work
literally-
with that
hold
their
on.
kids died
They said
from
it
the
was
shit.
literally-
So
no.
come
But they said
on.
it was literally a flu. So I'm saying from my family's anecdotal
Really,
evidence, they said it felt just like a flu. Redneq didn't have any serious symptoms. So like I'm saying from the people that I know and then to talk to, it didn't seem as bad as a lot of things made it seem to be. I'm just asking if Redneq feels the same way.
What
It's a question.
symptoms? No.
That's
Hold
like
on. Sam.
under
What
18.
symptoms did he say he had? What were his symptoms from taking the vaccine?
Redneq, did you die?
He didn't get the vaccine.
Oh my God!
We're not talking about the vaccine anymore.
What are
We're
we
not talking about the
doing here?
vaccine anymore. Pay attention. Catch up with us, guy.
That was the
attention.
symptoms from COVID he was talking about. Not
Yeah,
he
we're
didn't
talking
get the
about COVID
vaccine.
now.
Okay,
as a
so
whole, not
all
the
right,
fucking
my fault.
vaccine.
His COVID symptoms. What were his COVID symptoms?
Loss of taste, muscle soreness. I forgot
Heart
what was the third one.
palpitations.
Palpitation. Yeah.
He just
Okay.
said he has a heart condition. Heart
Okay,
palpitations
hold on.
of
Yeah,
any
I heard
form.
that.
You're not even on the same page with the question I asked. So sit the fuck down and listen for a minute. I asked him
Everyone
if you-
here is listening to you, Sam.
Okay.
except for you apparently, because you missed the whole question.
Samantha, please finish your point.
I asked if he thought that the government kind of blew COVID's severity out of proportion, because from what Redneq has stated his symptoms were, and what from my entire family minus myself, who was not invited to Christmas because I'm an asshole, they all got it, and they said it was like a flu. So everybody anecdotally that I know that had it seriously said it was like a severe flu and not something crazy where they want a fucking ventilator.
Swamp
I'm
Fox,
asking
you've
if
been
he thought
muted.
the government blew it out of proportion.
But Sam, I'm saying that there are cases of people that have been on ventilators that I'm not going to argue about if that's what the science said. But every one of my family members, just like you, experienced a flu. And I have already said on stream months ago that this is going to end up being every year the new flu because all of
I
these
also
things
had it too,
originate
so.
out of Southeast Asia. They do. So that's the position I've taken. I knew that my risk were I'm at a good health range, but I have a heart condition. So I was sort of like, well, I got to quit talking shit. I'll stay locked up. And I'm already an introvert as it was. And I was spending so much lovely time on air with you, streaming and bantering about your bitch ass that, it still was brought into the house.
Before I got banned from there, but that's not my fault. And I'm glad you made it out.
Okay. We'll go to Frank. You had your hand up, I think, previously. And
Yeah,
then
I just
Clearest and Bird.
I just wanted to go ahead and say I don't think anyone that's really shitting on Redneq, as much as I maybe don't want to just outright defend Redneq or anti-vaccine positions. I think in his case it's totally fine for him to be apprehensive about it, especially if he has pre-existing conditions. Of course, I would say that everyone should consult their healthcare professional to make sure whether that is right for them or if it is possible for them to take that. I would encourage anyone to do that at all. Regardless of whether you have a pre-existing condition or not. But I think anyone who was saying basically you're dumb for not wanting to get vaccinated when he has that's not really, I don't know.
Just since I shared a lot of medical stuff, my kids have gotten it, my in-laws have gotten it, my mom has gotten it. I mean, people, if you ask me the question about anything with COVID, it's your choice. That's where I live. Please just understand I'm making a choice for myself. I'm not trying to offend you. I'm not trying to harm you, but this is a touchy subject for me because I am one of those people that you may yell at saying, "Oh, why ain't you got a mask on? Why ain't you got a vaccination?" Yet it directly goes against my rights.
Well, just to
where
clarify,
I'm at.
if your state or local government has a mask mandate, it is not your choice. If you choose to go into a place of business, you have to wear a mask.
You do not.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
If you're on
They
private
have to-
property,
they have to. If you're on
It's
private
up to the
property,
business.
but if they are a public establishment, they have to offer you a form of service.
No, they don't.
Whether that means they
not,
bring it out
no,
to your
not
car,
if you're not wearing a
yeah,
mask.
then
No,
it's directed against.
if you're
it's
not
A-
wearing
it's
pants, they
ADA.
don't have to. If you're not wearing pants, they don't have to serve you.
There are people that cannot wear masks. They are offered face shields. It says face coverings. So they have shields in place that are clear and plastic and stick out like this.
Okay,
That
Okay,
is
so,
well
so, so,
acceptable. So you're being
hold on, let me say, are you saying that? Okay, so hold on. I want to be clear as to what you're saying. Are you saying that it's okay because they're going to have a face shield or something, right? That like that should be offered, but you're acknowledging that some sort of barrier should be in place. Is that what you're saying?
Every face shields are required. That's what I'm saying. If
Yeah.
you can't wear a mask,
Okay.
the store has to offer
I
you.
just include that in masks. Like that's just kind of common knowledge now.
I'm not sure if every store. I'm not sure if that's a requirement for every store to have to provide you with a mask. I think you might have to have. Yeah.
Most you have to have your own, but they do have like the cheap throwaways at a lot of, at least in California.
Okay.
And that was through the government mandate here.
Okay. All right. Fair
And
enough.
that's exactly where I just got back from, and that's where I found out because I didn't have a mask. And they said, "Oh, well, you have to have a face covering." And I said, "Well, do y'all have the face shields?" And they said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, I'll buy one and I can enter." And they
Yeah.
said, "Yes." And your state is very strict in California.
I don't
So
believe it's
trust me, I just went
nationwide.
through this.
I'm just saying I don't
No,
believe
it's-
that's nationwide. Okay, fair enough. All right.
Yeah, at one point here they had $1,000 fines.
Okay, let's go to Claris, then Bird.
Yeah, so I just want to say, somebody that's lost somebody very close to me to COVID. You know, I heard you say something about you having children. I think, you know, I hope you change your mind. And honestly, if nothing else, for their sake, I understand you have your reservations about that. You know, you're skeptical about, you know, protecting yourself in certain ways and whatnot. But I got to tell you, you know, there's a lot worse things that can happen. And you know, I can tell you for one thing, I'm more than happy to get myself vaccinated, thinking that that I'm protecting somebody like you. So honestly, it breaks my heart to think that your kids might grow up, you know, or continue to grow up without a father that died prematurely to something so stupid as not getting, you know, protected. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
but also consult your doctor to make sure you're safe to get it.
Well, yeah, because it seems like he has legitimate health reason to not get the vaccine. So, like,
He does. I'm just saying, do what you can to protect yourself. Is all I'm saying.
like, I don't think at one point he ever said like he's going to prevent his kids or his supposed wife because he has kids from getting the vaccine. Am I correct in that,
Supposed
Redneq?
wife.
Like, well, I mean, I don't know if he's divorced or not. So, but he has kids, so he had to have had a woman at one time in his life. Whether
one
present
time
or
and only once. Go ahead.
I've been married for 30 years, everybody, since I was 19 and 18, and we have a 30-year-old down to an
congratulations.
18-year-old.
Yeah. So
You got locked down early.
Legitimately, like he has a health concern, and like my kid caught COVID on Christmas Day. I mean, what a wonderful Christmas present for my kid. And he was almost hypoxic when we got him into the doctor. I mean, his blood oxygen was 86, which is really low for anyone
Yeah,
out
it's
there
low,
who
yeah.
doesn't know.
Very
That's
low.
really bad. And so, I mean, luckily, nebulizer, everything came back, and we got to keep him at home, and he didn't have to sit in the hospital, that poor, terrified little child. But, I mean, like, myself, am I going to get the vaccine? I would like the Johnson & Johnson one, just because it's a more traditional delivery on the adenovirus delivery rather than the mRNA. I don't necessarily agree with the mRNA yet. I need to see more evidence before I agree with the mRNA delivery first.
Okay, great, thank you.
Still calling
we
Redneq a bitch,
going to
though.
Bird, of course you are. Bird and Nacho. Go ahead, Bird.
So, since we're on the topic of coronavirus, can I ask Redneq, what is your thoughts about Trump's rhetoric about the coronavirus? How he was pretty explicitly racist about calling it like the China virus or the Wuhan flu or whatever.
What's racist about that?
Wuhan flu.
How's it
Are you-
racist? What's your definition of racist?
Well, he's attributing like the virus
Where did it
itself
come
to
from?
like the Chinese.
Where did it come from?
Yeah,
Where
but
did it
that's
come
not
from?
That's not the point of
That is the
calling it
purpose.
That's not
Correct.
the point of calling it
Are
the
we
China
okay?
virus.
Hold up, brother.
You're
You do
being
understand? Listen.
you're
You asked the
deluding
question. I'm going
yourself
to answer
into
it.
thinking.
Bird.
You
Bird,
over
let him answer.
First of all,
Well, you asked him a question.
hold on,
You asked him a
hold
question
on.
too.
Okay, please hold on. Bird, did you finish your question so that he can answer it?
Go ahead. I don't
Okay.
know at this point.
Go ahead, Red.
I thought Trump was brilliant for saying it the way he did because he was making China look bad on the global scene because they did fail to alert the rest of the world that they had something that broke out. So
Yeah,
you can either look at it, you don't have to like the delivery of the message, but the message was you motherfuckers did something and you should own up to it. It had no connotation to fucking Chinese people. That's your perception. He was talking about China themselves as a government failing. And so he was continually hitting them with the shit talk.
So
you don't like the shit talk.
For instance, calling it
That's the
the
perception of a bunch of conservatives as well, because hate crimes
You see how
towards
y'all
Asian
look how y'all
Americans
pile
have
on. Look at that. So
rise by
beautiful.
200%.
You're so triggered. Look
So,
at you.
I mean,
Okay.
Welcome to the doghouse, bro.
Bird. It's okay, Bird. It's okay. You're a lawyer.
Okay, all right, that's up. And
Not
he's
a
not
lawyer,
he's not a
but
bird nor a lawyer. Okay, so all right. Yeah.
preferred law.
So
It's not coming for no reason.
is this something of course I have to push back against? No. Trump knew exactly what he was fucking doing. Calling it the China virus, calling it the Kung flu, right? We are seeing an amazing spike, a tragic spike, and hate crimes against our Asian American brothers and sisters, right? That didn't come out of nowhere. That didn't just like happen to be a thing.
Hey, do you know what the problem is? You know where their main attacks are coming from?
Oh boy.
You know who the highest population?
Right wingers?
Oh boy.
Do you know what the highest? Do you know what the highest violence statistic
guys
is?
brought it
And I'll-
here.
You know what? Before I even say it, because I just got through hearing it like 2 days ago on the news. During this whole bullshit, I'll actually bring it up and I'm going to look at the actual stat before I share it. Because
Yeah,
that way
that would be great. That'd be great.
Lose your minds when I share it with you.
Okay, all right.
You're lose your
We
fucking
know
minds.
we know the stat. We know the stat.
Redneck, you are
Oh,
officially
what is he
doing
gonna-
what
is he
I
gonna
asked you
say-
to do, and thank you. Thank you so much for officially doing what I asked you to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. So,
Is he going full mask off?
Okay. All right. So let's go to Nacho while we wait
Scary
for
Blacksmith did it.
for whatever the stat is. But go ahead, Nacho.
So I kind of had like almost the same position as Salter on the vaccination. Again, as Prime and other people have said on here, get vaccinated. Like, do your best to protect other people. Personally, I've already had the virus. I don't plan on getting the vaccination. I'd like to give it some time to work to flesh out these things with the mRNA, etc. Like, if a job requires me to, of course I'm going to get it. I mask up. I do all the things I need to do to protect myself and to protect others. Like, I'm not an anti-vaxxer by any means. I've had all my other vaccinations. It makes me a little uncomfortable that usually it takes us like 5 to 10 years to come up with the vaccination. This took us like 8 months. So, and I try to do my best to read into this stuff and not, just be too skeptical of all these things. I know we're really far. We've made some pretty large strides in medical science. So, again, my grandpa had intentions. We were talking about this stuff, and I'm like, look, you're in the age range, you're in the threat zone or whatever. Like, you're 75, 70 above. Just get the vaccination. Like, it doesn't matter. You die from this or you die from that. Like, just get vaccinated. So, I don't know. Maybe that's wrong, but I guess I feel like I've already had the virus. I feel like I'm safe, and I don't feel like I'm threatening anybody else.
You're not.
Now that
Can
now
I
we
ask
should
you,
have.
Redneck, what era did you serve in? Like, what was your
Sorry.
service dates?
Gulf War, I think.
89.
We need to deal with what was said. Sorry, we need to deal with what was just said.
Yeah,
because you're not safe. You're not safe. So, Salter, are you going to address that or not? If you're not going to address it, then hold on. Are you going to address it or not?
Not safe in like what manner? Like hold on.
Are you going to? Sorry, dude. Are you going to address it or not? Like, because then I have to do it.
I would like to.
Okay.
I had a question for American Nacho that was exactly what he was saying.
Okay. All right.
So now let me see if I can remember it because I just got derailed it. So when it comes to, let me see if I can get back on track. I'm not on track. If I get back on track, I will.
Okay, sure. So you're not safe. There are variants, right? Like we know that people have been reinfected with COVID, right? Still work is being done to figure out exactly like how long you are immune, or like can you get herd immunity through people just simply being infected? And again, we have variants. We don't know if your past infection will protect you from that future infection. You are not safe. So I would say like get vaccinated. Everyone get vaccinated. Even I have a friend, a mod here in this community who was formerly infected. He got himself vaccinated because he's trying to protect himself. So please protect yourself, Nacho. I want you to stay safe and the people around you to stay safe. Please get vaccinated because these variants are spreading around the world, right? And they can be even more dangerous, right? So that's a possibility. And we've seen people who've gotten infected twice, right? And their symptoms have been more severe. So please get yourself vaccinated.
When
Get
is
yourself
the
vaccinated.
Johnson & Johnson
Nacho, you can respond.
be available? Just as a quick.
When will the Johnson and Johnson?
Hold on, Nacho. What would you want to say?
Oh, I was asking when the more traditional, the Johnson vaccination that Salter was talking about is going to be available.
It's available now. Like
It's
I was just told that at the end of the month, like my local pharmacy. Yeah, my local pharmacy is going to have it available at the end of the month. But I did remember my question that I wanted to ask you. So why is it that you're concerned that it only took the medical community 8 months to get a vaccine, and you're not angry that it only took 8 months to get a vaccine? Because like to me, this was the medical community busting themselves when they sit there and hem and haw and go, oh, we can't cure cancer. Oh, we can't come up with this. Oh, we can't do that. Because statistics
that's
have shown.
What bothers me. Like it kind of bothers me either way.
The statistics have shown that the pharmaceutical companies make more money off of treating the problem rather than curing the problem. So to me, this just busted the entire pharmaceutical industry in saying that, oh, it takes years to do this. No, they're just cashing in on a situation. That's my opinion. Anyway, that's what I remember.
Wait,
a lot of people got rich off the stock market by investing in. Who's talking?
That's crazy.
Sorry.
Yeah, because.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just to say, like, to your point, Nacho, like, it's not smart. It is active misinformation to say that I'm not gonna get the.
Hold on one second. Destiny, thank you for being so kind as to raid the channel with 1,589 people. Hooray! Hi everyone. So let me handle this real quick. I'll go back to you.
Destiny.
I'll go back to you in a second. 1 second. Okay. Oh crap! 1 second, please. Hey everyone. My name is Prime. You should know because we did a whole thing. Destiny was here for hours. It was great. But my name is Prime. We do these panels right now. We're doing an open panel with members of my audience who have come in. Right now we're tackling COVID and the vaccine. Holy crap! It's been a journey. It's been a journey since you've all left us. But we're here. We're gonna make it through this. I promise, right? And the best way to make this is hit that follow button, hit that notification bell, so you know I'm going live. We do 6 days a week. 6 days a week do we provide you this content. We want you to be around for it. All right. So if you enjoyed what happened previously when we were talking with Destiny, with Bosch, with Mixed Raven Wolf, with Mr. Fanatic, with Eris, Doobie. If you enjoyed that conversation, if you enjoyed all the other stuff you've seen from my channel, because Destiny's been here a bunch, right? Then now's the time. Hit that follow button, hit that notification bell if you haven't done so already. We want to see you here. We don't want you to miss another great event, right? Because that constantly happens on my channel. Randomness happens on my channel all the time. If you think you might enjoy that, if you think you might enjoy different people coming onto the channel and sharing their opinions, today has been a rough one, but like if you might enjoy that, then now's the time. Hit the follow button, hit the notification bell. Don't wait till later, right? Because you miss out, you're gonna be upset at yourself. So hit the follow button, hit the notification bell right now. Also, of course, you can sub to the channel. That'd be great. That'd be helpful. But you can also sub to my YouTube, !YouTube in chat. Eagle Eye Valor over there, he's gonna raise his hand. He's my illustrious editor here. He's been helping us out with the YouTube channel. So we've been posting the VODs, we've been posting highlights, right? Eagle Eye?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So we're getting. Oh, I was just gonna say we're getting really close to 1,000 subs, like really close.
Yeah. We definitely need to make it to 1,000. That would be quite helpful.
How many more do you need right now?
I don't know. Tell him. He'll figure it out.
210. 210.
Okay, 210. All right, 210. So exclamation point YouTube in chat. Do me a favor, hit that button, hit the link, and then go over there, hit the subscribe button, please. We're trying to get to 1,000. It's really tough. So help us out there. We're trying to grow us on the platform. We have Patreon, exclamation Patreon. If you want to help us out through there and tell us what you want us to do with the Patreon, because it's brand new. We have lots of ways for you to support the channel. But thank you all for coming in here. And at the very least, right, do yourself a favor. Hit the follow button, hit the notification bell so you know I'm going live. Tomorrow we're going to do a primetime morale, which is like the Austin show, the Raj Rail type thing, but more political. It'll be fun. We're going to have some big guests. We'll have like our good friend Dylan Burns is going to join us and other people. I don't know. I haven't looked at the list yet, but we'll have some big guests you'll enjoy. Thank you for the subbing Apple Cider 42, and it's the Zilla. Thank you so much for supporting the channel that way. We cannot do this without you, so I thank every single one of you who have been so supportive so far. Okay, so really appreciate all that. And again, hit that follow button, hit that notification bell right now. Exclamation point YouTube, help us out there as well. Okay, go ahead, Azzy. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we said what we need to say to Nacho. Like Nacho, the only thing I have to say is like, you know how you caught it. It's very likely the same way that you caught it. You could probably catch it the same way again. And I don't know if you were being safe. Like you heard Redneq, he was in his home minding his own business, and he got it. But now I just want to.
It was work, but
it was at work, so that's even worse. That's even worse. In your own workspace, so yeah, like you need to get that vaccine because you need to go to work. You need to go to work. You know. But to Redneq,
what happened to people's personal choice? Whatever happened?
No. I fully agree with you on that because
to be clear, for all the people who just joined, I am not an anti-vaxxer. Please don't kill me in the chat. I'm definitely not.
And Redneq, this is your final statement because someone has paid to boot you. I saved you the first time. I saved you the first time, but I can't save you this time. So.
This is why we can't have conservatives.
This is why we can't have nice things. I know.
Because they suck in that faith. Yeah, sure.
Oh, come on. He was here for hours. Other people got booted too. Charmhole was the first one who got booted. He's not a conservative. So
are you sure about that?
He's not a conservative. Charmhole's not a conservative. Anyway,
you're a little loony, but
Redneq. Final thoughts on this before we say Das Vidania.
How much money did you make?
Quite a bit.
How much money did you make?
Quite a bit.
No, how much money did you make?
50 bucks. 50 bucks. 50 bucks.
So that's all it takes. I thought you said my price was higher than that.
We were gonna raise. We're gonna raise it later. I'm gonna raise it after the podcast.
You know how many times you've been paid $50 to shut me up, and yet y'all complain when I'm on? Like
I can keep going. I'll pay $100.
You guys start raising this. So my final thoughts are this: you fucking cucks are so cock hard about talking shit about conservatives. That you little bitches.
Can we pay to keep him?
Who's mad?
It's my time. I get the last statement. Hey, I get my last fucking minute here.
Go ahead.
You gotta shut the fuck up and enjoy this shit. You paid for it, bitch. Let's go. Let's go. Get your money's worth.
Okay, go ahead.
You have a choice. You could choose to give your ass to the government and let them just keep poking the fingers in it and going, yeah, you're my little bitchy boy. Go ahead, do what I tell you to do. And then there's those of you that say, hey, I'm saving humanity. I'm not going against you, Prime. Just relax.
No, I get it.
Chill
I'm just
out.
laughing. I'm
smiling.
I'm laughing.
There are actually people out in society that have disabilities, and now I'm going to be very serious about this part. Don't judge people just because of your perception of what they're dealing with. Don't forget that. And for someone that considers themselves libertarian and more right-leaning, I just can't see how this is always an argument and how y'all are not willing to protect those in society that maybe can't get a vaccine or maybe can't wear a mask and are being ostracized in their society because they're being bitches. And that's what I've been called
You
tonight.
can get a vaccine.
I've even shared my
though.
medical.
You
I've
can
even
wear a
shared. Shut
mask.
the fuck up and let me finish.
Redneq, you gotta wrap
Only
it up.
one person on the panel said
Redneq,
that.
you got. Oh, sorry, everyone, shut up. Everyone, shut up. Thanks, no more. Thank you. Everyone, shut up. This is Redneq's time to shine. He's the belle of the ball. Now, but finish it up. Thank you. Great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So y'all keep paying that money. You keep obeying the masters up there in the higher power world that you say you're voting for, and they're changing America because they don't give a fuck about you. They've been doing this for hundreds of years. You're new to the game. Welcome to the world. Start adulting. Stop whining and quit calling everybody a fucking Nazi or a racist or whatever the fuck you want to call them that day because your pussy hurts. Thank you. I'm out.
Thank you.
Redneq just called.
Bye.
Redneq just called you guys slaves.
Okay. All right. So anyway, hey, we got a hype train going.
Why not?
We got a hype train going because people are really excited about that. How about the hype train? That'd be a nice thing for you to do. We have a minute left on the hype train. We can help that hype train out. That'd be fantastic. Okay, but oh my god.
Hey, Prime, real quick. I'll put a bidding war out there. If fucking Redneq's people want to donate money to Prime, I will keep going back and forth for a little bit until I run out of money.
Yo, are you really gonna use your 400? Your 400?
If you.
It's not the stimmy.
No. It's the
Oh,
400%.
baby. Right, and I'm
No.
privileged, okay?
It's the 400% return on his GPU. No, capture card that he won't let us forget. But
I'm
every
trying to
time,
Hey,
no,
I want Prime K's to have a graphics card, so let's just keep going.
Okay.
you keep using your money for evil when you could have put that money into something.
Wait.
He banned Redneq. How is that evil?
That's for good.
That's a good thing.
I have a fucking 100% nonprofit military fucking goddamn veteran charity. It's called Free for Life Apparel. I put my own money into all the fucking time for shipping because I don't want people to say, "Oh, you fucking took fucking 2% out of this to ship the t-shirt to somebody." Okay? I care about fucking charities. I put my own money into it. I have a little bit more extra money. I'm married. I have kids. I don't fucking do shit for myself. All right? I am like the most based Jesus Christ. I'm basically Christ-like, okay? I fucking.
My God, no, see that? This is what I'm talking about. Swamp Fox likes to use his money to control the narrative. We all seen it. This is the second night in the row.
Oh, wait a minute. There is never anything. There is never anything evil, never anything untoward, never nothing insidious about paying me money. Okay, right? Like that's the best thing you can do with your money, right? How am I not the greatest of charities? Right? I think it was a spot in heaven. Must be because of the money he's put into it, and you can find that spot too. If you also donate, we have a PayPal button below. Check it out. Help us out. Help out the channel. It's a great way to do a good deed for the day. So
you know what? I did
exactly. The person that has let me talk on a panel. Okay, I've tried hippy dippy. I've tried drunken debates. Nobody fucking lets me talk. So I will give Prime all my fucking money, and you guys should too. If Redneq actually had the fucking fan base that he claims, you know, he'd still be here because they just donate $60 to Prime, and then
maybe they
back.
won't let you talk because of your mic.
I don't care. I mean, if Prime gets more money,
Just use that $50 towards that.
Yeah, use the $50 to get a better mic, dude.
Donate.
You know how much harassment.
It's Discord. Blame Discord and blame.
Listen, Ozzy, you're the last one that needs to talk shit about anybody's microphone, okay?
Exactly. You know how much hate and harassment and even the moderator himself. Ozzy, I love you, but you gotta get a new mic, bro. Man, come on, Swamp. There's no excuse.
Me donate you money for a mic.
Oh God, bro. You gotta fix that, bro. Now I understand. Now I understand, bro.
Shut up.
You're not poor, bro. You made for
Swamp.
You're not
I think
poor,
we can all
bro.
agree on
See
is
that?
that capitalism won tonight.
Let's make it that capitalism is bad because it restricts other people from having free speech.
Smallpox. I got a question for you.
Goodness. This is why we can't get any conservatives on here, man. These capitalist, leftist, Marxist.
I'm not even on here enough, but if Redneq's fucking awesome like following wants to donate more, I'm cool with him coming back, and then I'll donate fucking $60 or whatever to get him off again. We'll just keep
think he was alive.
bidding war, bidding war.
I just don't want to continue the theme of Azzy never finishing his statements, because that seems to be an ongoing. It's just anything and everything. Just he won't let me speak, so I can't complain about that anymore. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? See that? There we go again. Our lawyer just can't keep it.
Okay. He's using his white privilege.
You know what I'm saying? And this is exactly why I showed up. You know, the melanin scale wasn't, you know, we have the transracialist, you know, redneck, but you just need a little bit of a darker voice in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I'm gonna talk for 10 seconds and then we're done. I was a veteran. I get annoyed when I see veterans like use that claim to shut other people down. That's why I banned him. The end.
So it's principled, is what you're saying.
Are you saying it's moral?
He said I was gonna do 10 seconds. We're done.
Okay. All right.
Why do we have to? This is my question. Why do we have to debase and attack Redneq? We couldn't even talk about the civil rights, his position on civil rights long enough.
Thank you, Jesus Christ!
Before we started talking about,
I blame Prime for that. I blame Prime for that.
I specifically asked Samantha not to do it. I asked her in was it the DMs or was it in Twitch chat?
Man.
I asked her not to do it. I told her not to do it.
No, let's not divert the conversation because Samantha isn't the arbiter of this topic.
This man who is still in chat, by the way, came in and you guys let him just get away with saying that the Civil Rights Act was racist. Isn't that what he said? I don't want to misquote him. He did. Y'all didn't push him on any. What are you talking about? Yes, he did.
We literally did. We did push him on that. We actually literally did. Hold on. But hold on. No. Well, I'll say this. We didn't hit every single point. Holy shit, there's a lot. But we did get him on the COVID. I don't know. It's a lot with Redneq.
All my leftist friends, Redneq's like this super popular conservative guy. If he's this super popular conservative guy, then they can put their money where their mouth is. And get them back on.
Can we talk about the real victim here?
Okay? I thought you were poor. What is this narrative? I thought you were. Why are you using?
I just have a wife and kids, so like it's hard to justify money moves. Okay.
Are you rich? Are you a millionaire, bro? You should use every single one of that money to put food in your children's mouths. You hypocritical.
Okay.
I'm a McDonald.
Make your family great again, Swamp.
Okay, all right.
Can we talk about the real victim here? Eagle Eye Valor, who has to edit all of this when this goes up. Okay, that's the real victim there.
What are you talking about? He's getting ad. What are you talking about? He's getting ad revenue.
No, there is no ad. There is no ad revenue. There is no ad revenue.
Not yet.
That's why we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers.
Exclamation point YouTube in chat to get to the YouTube page, right? And to sign up for the YouTube.
Yeah, let's see how many subs we got.
So we can get to 1,000. Like we get to 1,000 before we can start getting that ad revenue. So no, we're not getting any ad revenue.
Dude, I'm at 10 subs
200
now.
more.
I'm at 10 subs, and then I sub to you for like the next 5 months. So like, whatever. I'm done spending money on this panel.
No. I mean, we're talking about sub on YouTube,
on YouTube.
Become a free YouTube subscriber.
Oh, YouTube? Yeah, dude, I got you on YouTube. I'll tell all my fucking degenerate friends to go follow on you or subscribe to you on YouTube.
Exclamation point.
Swamp Fox. This is what I have a problem with. So Swamp Fox, you could be like me, right? Who I can just donate $50 with out of the charity of my own heart, not to any initiative. To silence. You trying to silence me now?
No,
with no money down.
If I want to do that,
you better be careful who you're talking to.
I thought you had 10 seconds. Now you want $1 million? Come on,
See,
Swamp.
I only started banning people because Charmhole said the N-word on stream, and I've just been making him pay for that for a long time.
Okay, maybe he got it. Maybe he
okay.
I'm not the only one that heard this.
This is amazing.
I'm tired of this narrative.
This
You
is
can hear Charmble say the N word on fucking
I've heard
in the
it from
little
him
chat.
off stream, but in politics server, but not on stream.
Oh, I haven't heard that. Okay.
Come on, Eagle Eye, don't make me
Oh,
feel
boy.
stupid.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if he said it on stream. He said it
I
on
have not heard
Discord.
him say it on the stream, but okay. All right. Oh, all right. So hold on. We're gonna go down the rabbit
That's
hole
beside
here.
the point,
We're
though.
gonna go down a hard rabbit hole, right? And a better rabbit hole is one you'll find on YouTube, right? When you hit the autoplay button, right? But you should start with on one of my videos, right? And while you're there, maybe you should subscribe. YouTube and chat, so that we can finally get to 1,000. It's so hard to get there. Holy crap, we're trying so hard. But we're putting our VODs, we're putting our highlights, right? So all this stuff, that'll end up there. So if you missed parts of it, go to our YouTube and watch it there. It's got a really good video player. So hey, right.
I just got you to 810 Prime.
810. There we go.
We were at 810. We were at 810. I've got it on my screen right now.
No,
You liar.
Prime, here's the cheat code. Why don't you have Doobie rally all his Nazis?
Oh, okay.
to subscribe.
All right, Azzy.
You know what?
Azzy, that was good. That was good. That was good, Azzy. I'm gonna give you
I know
that.
I'm good. I
Azzy,
know
that
I'm
was
good. This is why
Okay.
I show up.
All right, buddy. So, to my audience, what's going to happen is tomorrow we're going to have our primetime morale. It's going to be great. We're going to have individuals, and they're going to say stuff. Individuals like our good friend Dylan Burns is scheduled to be there as of now, but people cancel on me all the time. So, but I believe it as of now, Dylan Burns is going to be there. So come back for that. Come back for the open panel because we do it 6 days a week. 6 days a week we have these open panels, right? If you enjoyed all the insanity that's happened here, guess what? It'll happen again, right? And we'll have crazier moments. We'll do that, right? So if you don't want to miss out, this is your last chance. Do yourself a favor. Don't do me a favor. Do yourself a favor. Hit that follow button. Hit that notification bell so you know when I'm going live. We do this all the time, right? Don't miss out again like you missed out already. So do that for me. Do that for yourselves. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, American Nacho. You're part of the Republican Nation, right? Or something, right?
Yeah, they just asked me to come on and start doing a time slot for them. So
American
okay.
Nacho is a nice person.
Well, shout out to them. Thank you, Azzy, Bird, Clearest, Dianagram, who's broken apparently, Eagle Eye Valor, my illustrious mod and editor. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Soltor. I really like you. Come back on. I like everyone. But Soltor, come back on sometime. But I do like everybody. That seems mean now. All right, never mind. But in fact, no one coming back on. Next,
Actually, he hates all of us now.
Ryan, I'm just gonna keep bugging you until you invite me on a panel. That's my entire goal.
I see what you're saying. Okay, all right.
Hey,
Hey, do you want to come on tomorrow for the prime time round?
You have to spend to get on one of your legit like closed panels.
Soltor, you're not even subscribed. You're not even a sub, dude. What are you talking about?
Okay. Anyway, Soltar, Swap, and Infinity, we'll talk about it in a second.
I am.
Anyway, okay.
Snitches, bro.
Oh wow.
Snitches.
Okay.
Terrible.
So I'm gonna send you off to my friend.
I like
I'm gonna
your
send you
background,
off to my friend. Her name is I was in the shower. She's a sub to this channel. She's a very nice woman. I love her. Be kind to her and come back tomorrow. It'll be great. So